What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 4TR Chapter 61. Third Generation is really 6/4 case gauge. Shukaku's wind style. When practicing blank ammunition, the firepower is not so strong. The huge wooden golem was smashed into a sieve in less than 3 seconds and collapsed. As soon as the wooden golem fell, another shuriken flew out of the woods, a shuriken made of wood. Ninja technique. Multiple shuriken shadow clone technique. One shuriken immediately transformed into thousands and thousands of them, attacking overwhelmingly. Orochimaru bit his finger and began to form seals. But Mizuki moved faster, and with just a thought, Chakra fluctuated. A tall wall immediately rose up, blocking the front. Orochimaru paused with his hand halfway through the seal. Mizuki-kun, I admire you more and more. Muji released ninjutsu. His tongue stuck out again. Mizuki jumped up to the earth flow wall and said loudly, I'm sorry, I can't envy you. The sound centered on him and spread in all directions. Echolocation began to search for the location of first generation, and the results were soon available. Universal pull. First generation's body immediately flew over uncontrollably. Mizuki repeated his old trick, and the black rod in the palm of his left hand reappeared and was inserted directly into the chest of first generation. As a result, the feel is wrong. Huh, Mizuki frowned. Would clone again. First generation's would clone is so awesome. So, where is the true body hidden? Echolocation searches were repeated, even on the roof, but the location of first generation could not be found. Suddenly, first generation emerged from the trunk of a tree, clapping his hands to form a seal. It turned out to be integrated with the trees. Universal pull activates again, interrupting first generation's spell and sucking first generation over. The black rod was inserted again, and the result was a wood clone. It's endless, isn't it? Mizuki got a little annoyed. I have already seen some of first generation's methods, so there is no need to continue to struggle. He turned back to Orochimaru and said, I think it's better to cancel the impure world reincarnation and let the first generation and second generation return to the Pure Land. Originally, you and fourth case gauge had no confidence in dealing with the third generation, but now that I'm here, the third generation can't make any trouble. Orochimaru nodded and began to form seals. Anyway, if you want to impure world reincarnation, you can summoning it out at any time. Zicho Shen Yin Chen Hai. Impure world reincarnation, solution. Dust flew up like confetti from second Hokage's body, quickly revealing one of the unlucky Kusanagi village ninjas. Similarly, dust is scattered on the surface of a tree, and the first generation's impure world reincarnation is also lifted. Now, only the third generation is left. Mizuki looked at the sealed tree boundary wall. At the same time, inside the tree boundary wall, the third generation is acting like a monster. Ninpo. Summoning technique. With a bang sound, the old monkey ape demon appeared. In the ape demon's hands was a child, who was also from the orphanage. Third generation said, Thank you for your hard work, monkey demon. The monkey demon glanced at the technique on the ground, then frowned at the third generation and asked, Sarutobi, what exactly do you want to do? Third generation shook his head and said, In the face of a powerful enemy, everything I do is for Konoha. As for the children, I can only say I'm sorry, they sacrificed themselves for Konoha, and I will write their names on the memorial tablet. The monkey demon opened his mouth and said, Sarutobi, what you are doing completely violates Konoha's. Okay, I have my own opinion on this matter. You can go back first. Third generation directly interrupted the monkey demon. After saying that, third generation took the initiative to release the summoning technique. Although the ape demon looked unwilling, it still disappeared with a bang. Third generation looked at the unconscious child on the ground, expressionless. Advertisement. He took out a scroll with the technique of impure world reincarnation drawn on it. Immediately afterwards, he took out another eye, crushed it, and applied it on the technique. Spreading the scroll on the ground, the spell immediately flowed out of the scroll as if alive, surrounding the child, forming a formation. Summoning technique. Impure world reincarnation. The entire formation began to glow. The child also woke up, but his face was painful and he screamed miserably. The dirt, like shreds of paper, gathered on the child in the light, and soon, Uchiha Shisui appeared again. Third generation Sama, you have gone too far. Shisui opened his eyes to see the third generation, anger flashing in his eyes. Third generation said calmly, Konoha has reached a critical moment of life and death, and I have to do this. It's just that second generation didn't perfect the impure world reincarnation, so each summoning could only last for a short time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have repeatedly attacked innocent people. Shisui looked expressionless and asked, Who do you want me to deal with this time? His view of the third generation has completely changed. The third generation in my memory is kind, amiable, considerate of the overall situation, not murderous, and considerate of others. But now, it's completely different. Shisui has understood that he was deceived by the appearance of third generation. He regretted that he should not have believed the words of the third generation while he was still alive. For the ridiculous wolf fire, he was deceived by the third generation and turned against his tribe and family. Even if he fell into the pit, he also brought Itachi into the pit. As a result, the Uchiha clan was not saved, and Konoha was not much better, but became weaker and weaker. It's too late to regret. Unfortunately, he was reincarnated from the impure world and could only obey the orders of the third generation without being able to resist. Otherwise, he must have a distinguished heavenly gods. Third generation said, as soon as you see someone, you will know who they are. Remember, the enemy is very difficult, and you must take action as soon as possible. As soon as the words fell, the seal of third generation was formed. Fire style. Great fireball technique. The great fireball ejected from the mouth directly smashed through the tree boundary wall, revealing a large hole. Shisui's eyes immediately focused on Mizuki. The next moment, a large four-cornered windmill appeared in the pupils of his eyes. Mizuki was startled, and subconsciously took out the Liushin toilet water, opened the cap and applied it to the philtrum under the nose. But he reacted the next moment. Laozi's left eye is Eternal Mangekyo, and his right eye is Rinnegan. How can he be afraid of mere distinguished heavenly gods? He looked at third generation and sneered. Third Hokage, you don't think that the distinguished heavenly gods used by Shisui are any better than Danzo, do you? Will Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil technique be useful to Rinnegan? Blood and tears shed from the corners of Shisui's eyes. Mizuki was calm, and he could feel that there was a spiritual force trying to invade his brain. However, it cannot be invaded at all. The pupil power of the eternal eye in the left eye alone can completely block this spiritual power. Third generation looked at the unaffected Mizuki with a gloomy expression. Mizuki smiled and said, Third Hokage, you are also known as a hero after all. When you are about to die, you do such a villainous act of desecrating the dead. It is really a bad time for you. I've had enough fun, now please go on your way. But at this moment, third generation suddenly smiled. You should be the one taking the road. The next moment, Mizuki felt a pain in his neck and couldn't move his body. Looking sideways, he saw Orochimaru biting his neck. Orochimaru's teeth injected venom into Mizuki's body, as well as a black curse mark. This is Orochimaru's unique cursed seal. During the Fourth War, it immobilized Afe and helped the ninja coalition a lot. Advertisement, what the hell, Orochimaru, you. Why are you with the third generation? Haha, Mizuki-kun, I'm sorry to tell you that the Konoha collapse plan is just to lure you into taking the bait. Mizuki frowned. It's funny, isn't it? Konoha's collapse plan lured me into taking the bait? When this plan was hatched, I was not famous yet. Mizuki realized something and looked at the third generation and Uchiha Shisui next to the third generation. Third Hokage, what a scheme. Has Orochimaru actually been hit by the distinguished heavenly gods? It seems that when I went to the Hokage building to get the scroll, something very interesting happened here. Needless to say, fourth Kazekage must have been controlled by the distinguished heavenly gods. In other words, these people just now were all acting themselves. Third generation's Shisui move is really awesome. Orochimaru opened his mouth and said with a tired face, it's fast, his chakra is too large, my cursed seal and snake venom can't restrain him for long. God knows, in order to control Mizuki, he poured all the chakra into the cursed seal. Now that the chakra is exhausted, he will just stop eating. Third generation quickly ran over, forming seals with both hands. Fire style. Fire bullets. Looking at the approaching raging fire, Mizuki smiled. You guys underestimate my power too much. Although chakra cannot be used, my double eye technique can be used without chakra. Any ninjutsu will not work on me. What he said was a Shinra Tenjung. The fire bomb disintegrated instantly, and Orochimaru behind him also flew backwards for dozens of meters, lying on the ground groaning miserably. He held on and shouted, continue to attack, he can't move now, this is the best chance. The third generation continues to form seals. Lightning style, walk. The lightning followed the ground and reached Mizuki's feet. Rinnegan. Sealing technique absorbing seal. A barrier enveloped Mizuki, and lightning style immediately transformed into chakra again when it encountered the barrier, and was absorbed by all of it. Is ninjutsu ineffective? In that case, I can only kill you with weapons at close range. Earth style. Hidden in the earth technique. Third generation sneaked underground, and when they reappeared, they were already behind Mizuki, and quietly stabbed Mizuki in the back with a kunai. Shinra Tenjung. Third generation flew straight out, but turned into dirt in midair. This is an earth clone. Just after the Shinra Tensai ended, another third generation emerged from behind Mizuki, and kunai stabbed Mizuki. Mizuki frowned. Shinra Tenjung has a cooldown time of 5 seconds. It was used 1 second ago and it has not cooled down yet. In that case, behind Mizuki, third generation sneered. The Rinnegan eye technique, which rejects all ninjutsu and substances, is not ready yet. Rebel Ninja Mizuki, go to hell. Third generation has a ferocious face and a crazy smile on its lips, as if it has seen the scene of Mizuki dying on the spot. But the next moment, a clear voice sounded, ding. The golden chakra forms a skeleton and protects Mizuki within it. The kunai stabbed one of the skeleton's ribs, breaking, it broke. What? What is this? Orochimaru looked shocked, and the fourth Kazekage not far away also had his eyes widened. The third Hokage gritted his teeth and said, Susanoo. You only have one Sharingan, why can you turn on Susanoo? Mizuki smiled and said, kunai stabbed Susan, third generation, you and Danzo are indeed good brothers. Chapter 62. The third generation is finally here. Mizuki's right little finger moved slightly. The effect of Orochimaru's cursed seal is weakening. The snake venom injected into the body is also quickly dissipated under the continuous flushing of chakra. There are no mediocre people present. Mizuki moved his finger and everyone saw it. Orochimaru shouted anxiously. The restraint of the curse seal on him is weakening and will soon lose its effect. He must be killed within the duration of the curse seal. Third generation was also anxious. There was a struggle in his eyes, as if there was some decision he couldn't make. Mizuki said calmly, "I've had enough fun, third Hokage, now I'll send you on your way." The reason why it is delayed until now is that Mizuki just wants to exercise his fighting ability. Otherwise, if he had set his soul life high at the beginning and silenced third generation, he would have been instantly killed. Mizuki understands the importance of combat experience. Just having chakra and ninjutsu doesn't mean you are strong. Just like Otsutsuki Kagaya, who absorbed so much chakra, Bloodline Snare was also heaven-defying, but ultimately lost to Naruto and Sasuke. On the other hand, Uchiha Madara does not have as much chakra as Kagaya, nor does he have the Bloodline Snare like Kagaya, but his combat ability is stronger than Kaguya's. Naruto and Sasuke would never be Madara's opponents if Black Zetsu hadn't ripped their hearts out. Therefore, after finally encountering an opportunity like today, Mizuki must of course improve himself. Today's battle taught him valuable experience. For example, don't completely trust your allies, because you don't know if your allies will suddenly turn into enemies and attack you from behind. Fortunately, it was Orochimaru. If he had been replaced by Black Zetsu, wouldn't he be doomed? End it. Susanoo's skeletal fist hit third generation backwards. Although he could not turn around, the location of third generation was clearly reflected in Mizuki's mind through echolocation. Third generation ducked out of the way. Susan's two fists took turns to punch down, but third generation's movements were extremely flexible, and even after several punches, he didn't even hit. Humph, universal pull. The suction force grabs the third generation and flies towards Mizuki. You won't be able to escape this way. The giant skeleton fist struck again with great force. This time, third generation couldn't escape. Ninpo. Summoning technique. In a desperate situation, third generation summoned the monkey demon. Ape demon, throw me away quickly. The monkey demon didn't hesitate, grabbed the third generation, and threw it away. The next moment, the giant skeleton fist hit the ape demon, and the injured ape demon released the summoning technique and disappeared. Third generation once again resolved the crisis. The hesitation in their eyes disappeared and turned into determination. He had made up his mind and said to Orochimaru, "Orochimaru, Konoha will depend on you from now on. I will now officially appoint you as the 5th Hokage." The next moment, he quickly formed seals with his hands. Ninja technique. Shadow clone technique. Third generation created a dozen shadow clone. But it's not over yet. Earth style, earth flow wall. 4 wide and tall earth walls rose up, surrounding Mizuki and the third generation. Even Susanoo was not as tall as these earth walls. Earth style. Cover from the sky. Advertisement: a black alien space passage appeared above the head, and a huge pot lid fell down and was placed on the 4 earth walls. The surroundings suddenly became pitch black. Water style. Water style. Third generation spit out glue from its mouth, covering all the gaps in the earthen wall and roof. An airtight confined space is manufactured. At the same time, the shadow clone of the third generation are also performing ninjutsu. Wind style. Vacuum Dayama. A dozen shadow clone opened their mouths to inhale a large mouthful of air. The air in the confined space was limited. As soon as they were sucked in by these shadow clone, the air immediately began to become thinner. Until finally, the air is sucked dry. The key is that after they suck the air away, they hold it in their mouths without spitting it out. This results in a lack of air around it, reaching a state close to a vacuum. This is wind style. Vacuum Dayu. Is it really used? Transformation is very powerful, but you need to lock the target first before using it. It's pitch black here, you can't see. It's a vacuum again, so sound can't be transmitted, so you can't hear it. Transformation has become a decoration. Even if Orochimaru's curse seal fails, you will not be able to escape at all. In order to restrain Mizuki's transformation, third generation worked hard and finally designed this set of connecting ninjutsu. Mizuki, who was not far away, noticed the changes in the surrounding environment and couldn't help but admire him. Third generation is also a genius for coming up with this method to restrain the apparition. Mizuki can't feel anything, and the third generation has also become blind. Moreover, without air, a strong sense of suffocation began. What do you mean, you want to suffocate me to death? At this time, the third generation is forming seals. Si Hai Wei Mao Shu Zi Yu Wu Si. Finally, fingers crossed. The next moment, Shinigami appeared behind him, and a strange aura began to fill the air, as well as terrifying laughter that could spread even in a vacuum. Mizuki suddenly felt a chill on his back and goosebumps on his skin. The corpse ghosts are sealed. This must be the corpse ghosts sealed. The third generation wants to die with me. Mizuki was shocked. He wanted to move, but the effect of Orochimaru's curse seal had not dissipated. He could only move a few fingers, and he couldn't even turn around. The chakra in the body is still in a disturbed state and cannot be used. The only thing that can be used is the double eye technique. Without the blessing of chakra, the power of pupil technique, which only relies on pupil power, is much smaller. Even a Shinra Tianzhong may not be able to explode the surrounding earth current wall. Even Susanoo can only open up to the second stage. Strength is greatly affected, but Mizuki will not be willing to die. It has only been a few months, so how can he do it now? This is forcing me to make bigger moves. His body floated upwards, his face expressionless, his expression indifferent, and he turned on the show-off mode. How many floors does a bag of rice have to resist? A bag of rice has to stand up to the second floor. A bag of rice is very tiring. Advertisement: I need to wash a bag of rice. There is mud in the mouth. Who gave you a bag of rice? There was silence for a moment, and then a repulsive force that destroyed the world broke out. Spicy. Tiansen. The roof, which had been undamaged until the battle, finally began to disintegrate. The sky-falling cover above the head and the surrounding earth flow walls collapsed inch by inch. The third Hokage's shadow clone dissipated instantly. The third generation himself felt as if he was hit head-on by a rapidly approaching mountain. His bones all over his body were shattered and fractured, and then he was crushed into a meat pie by the repulsive force. Shinigami, who had a ferocious face and a weird smile, couldn't laugh anymore. Instead, he stared at Mizuki with a pair of big ghost eyes and a look of horror on his face. Then, Shinigami's void body also began to tear apart, and the faint screams slowly dissipated like smoke. The destruction continued, and Orochimaru and 4th Kazekage also died amid screams. The 4 sound ninjas relied on the 4 purple flame formations to resist. When the chakra of the 4 people was completely exhausted and the 4 purple flame formations disappeared, Shinra Tianjung finally exhausted the last bit of power. The corners of Mizuki's mouth twitched. What a shame. Tendo Pain's super. Shinra Tianjung destroyed the entire Konoha with one move. It's your turn to destroy only one roof. This B****ch. It's a shame that I was so high up just now. Fortunately no one heard me. Just keep this embarrassment deep in your heart and no one can talk about it. This incident also reminded Mizuki of the importance of chakra. Without chakra, relying solely on pupil power, even Rinnegan's pupil power cannot be exerted much. Not to mention he only has one Rinnegan with half the power of his eyes. He looked around and saw that the bodies of 3rd generation, Orochimaru, and 4th Kazekage were all in human form, and the 4 sound ninjas also died due to exhaustion of chakra. 3rd generation is dead. Hey, after all the twists and turns, it's my fault for having fun. The 4th Kazekage is also dead. As for Orochimaru, there is a 90% chance that he will be resurrected. The purpose of this trip to Konoha has been achieved. As soon as Orochimaru died, the cursed seal was immediately lifted, Mizuki regained his mobility, and chakra regained control. The snake venom has not been completely removed from the body, but it is getting closer. At this moment, Anbu, who was originally watching the battle, all rushed in. Kill him. A large number of ninjutsu and ninja tools came towards Mizuki. Mizuki frowned slightly and shouted softly, Shinra Tenjung. All attack methods are cleared instantly. But Mizuki also felt a stinging pain in his right eye, which made him couldn't help but reach out and cover his eyes. That move just now was super. Shinra Tianjung caused excessive consumption of pupil power. The 3rd generation is dead, there's no point in continuing to struggle. Start Taobao next. Fenghuang village was just built. If we don't build more wealth, we won't be able to develop. Chapter 63. Kidnapping Gaara. Ninja Tool Shop. Mizuki is here again. It feels like visiting a supermarket in a post-apocalyptic zombie world. Take whatever you want. Long sword, kunai, shuriken, senbon, blade bag, various scrolls. He didn't give up until he filled a full storage ring. Before leaving, Mizuki took out hundreds of millions of dollars and piled them on the counter. The money was enough to cover the blades he took away. He is now the head of a village and a person of status. How could he do such a sneaky thing? As for taking the ninjutsu scroll from the Hokage building, that's not stealing, that's robbing. It's okay to rob, it's fair and square. You were robbed by me. You can't blame me for being a bully. I can only blame you for being inferior to others. Bring these things back. Phoenix Village will have no shortage of ninja tools in a short time. Ninjutsu is now available, ninja skills are available, and the fundamentals of Phoenix Village have been stabilized. This wasn't over yet. Next, he visited a medicinal shop, a barbecue shop, a meatball shop, an Ichiraku ramen shop, and took away everything he could. There is a systematic granting and returning function, and for him, nothing is without value. What we lack most now is people. What is a ninja village called a ninja village if there are only 6 ninjas? Who can be taken away? The first thing Mizuki thought of was Neji. Unlike anime, Neji is still a rebellious boy without Naruto's other words. He hates Hyuga's branch house system and believes that hard work is worthless in the face of talent. Neji has no sense of belonging either to Hyuga or to Konoha village. Such a person is suitable to bring back to the kingdom of birds. But there's a caged bird, which is troublesome. If the caged bird is not released, even if Neji is taken away, the Hyuga clan can use the caged bird to kill him at any time. What else can we do? In fact, Mizuki has been thinking about this problem for a long time, and finally there's only one way that he can think of, and it is still an impossible way. Kill Neji. As soon as Neji dies, caged bird will activate immediately and destroy the Byakugan. After activation, curse mark. Caged bird will naturally expire. Then, Mizuki used the Rinne Tensai technique with the Rinnegan heretic ability to resurrect Neji. In this way, Neji is no longer restricted by caged bird. But the problem is that after casting the Rinne Tensai technique, the caster will die. Mizuki would never be so stupid as to trade his own life for someone else's. Therefore, it is impossible for him to do this method. If I want to survive the surgery, I must become 10 Tails Jinchuriki. In fact, there is another way to resurrect the dead, and that is the immortal talisman of the Toad clan Mount Myoboku. Sage of Six Paths once used the celestial talisman of Mount Myoboku to resurrect his younger brother Otsutsuki Hamura. But Mizuki didn't think he could borrow that kind of magical object from Mount Myoboku. Jiraiya died, and Mount Myoboku didn't even see him resurrected, let alone anyone else. Forget it. Let's not think about it now, Neji. Whenever you find a way to remove the curse seal, or master a resurrection-type ninjutsu, it won't be too late to take him away. It's hard to do it on your own, but he has a system. Except for Neji, there are no good candidates in Konoha for the time being. The other Xiao Chang has a strong sense of belonging to Konoha and a deep bond. It would be futile to take them away, so they will not be considered for the time being. Since Konoha can't do it, then consider people from other villages. Gaara from Sand Shinobi Village is a good candidate. After taking him back by force, just let Naruto do whatever he wants. Kimimaro, Shan Ling, and Suigetsu from Ado Ninja Village are all talented people. Advertisement now, the closest one is Gaara. The opportunity is here. In the finals of the Chunin exam, the battle has ended. Konoha has a large number of people. The Sound Ninja and Sand Shinobi, the minions are almost dead, and the remaining main characters have fled. No one knows the details of what happened on the roof except those Anbu and Mizuki. The Sound Ninja and Sand Shinobi had no idea that their boss was controlled by the distinguished heavenly gods and had reconciled with Konoha. Now that the boss is dead, their first reaction is to run away. There was only one Yakushi Kabuto left in the Sound Ninja village. He was a fast runner and his excellent spy skills allowed him to leave Konoha easily. On the Sand Shinobi side, Jonin Baki has long disappeared, and Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro rush out of Konoha together. Gaara was slightly injured during the fight with Xiao Li and was held up by Temari and Kankuro. His eyes were filled with murderous intent, making Temari and Kankuro beside him afraid to say anything, for fear of offending this murderous star and doing something righteous to exterminate relatives. The three of them got rid of the passers-by who followed behind them and galloped towards the Kingdom of Wind. Suddenly, the three of them paused. Temari and Kankuro looked at the person in front of them with wary expressions. "Can you please give Gaara to me?" Mizuki smiled slightly. The battle on the rooftop was blocked by the four purple flame formation, so they didn't know much about it. Only when the final battle was broken did we know that 4th Kazekage was dead. In addition, Kankuro and Temari's attention was entirely on Gaara the whole time. So, they don't know Mizuki at all. When Gaara saw Mizuki, murderous intent suddenly rose in his eyes. Kill you all." Temari picked up the fan and said, "Kankuro, take Gaara first, and I will follow." She unfolded her fan to reveal a star, and was about to incite it, but inadvertently met Mizuki's eyes. In an instant, she was dominated by fear, her face was full of horror, as if she had seen the most terrifying thing. Kankuro on the side was in the same situation. He couldn't move his body and couldn't resist any will in his heart. He just felt that he would die in the next moment. I knew I was under an illusion, but I couldn't figure it out. It's like a ghost is pressing down on the bed, extremely desperate. In comparison, Gaara's reaction was completely different. He seemed to be irritated, his pupils began to change, and his body began to transform into a tailed beast, turning into a smaller one-tailed Shukaku in an instant. "Kill you. I'm going to kill you." Mizuki didn't give him a chance at all. His left eye always appeared with Mangekyo, and he directly used the pupil technique to increase the life of the soul. Gaara immediately stopped cooking, and the tailed beast transformation was forced to end. "What did you do to me?" Gaara was also confused. Mizuki smiled and said, "Promise to follow me to a place and I will tell you." Gaara asked, "Where?" Mizuki said, "A place completely different from Sand Shinobi Village. You are in Sand Shinobi Village, feared by everyone, hated by everyone, even your biological father wants to kill you. But when you go to that place, no one will be afraid of your power, and no one will hate you. When you are in Sand Shinobi Village, no one among your peers wants to play with you, but when you go to that place, you will have many, many friends, and everyone will welcome you and be happy to play with you." Gaara's face was full of yearning and he murmured, "Don't be afraid of me, be willing to play with me." At this moment, there was light in his eyes, but the next moment, the light went out. "You lied to me. There is a monster inside me, and I am the monster. No one dares to play with me, no one dares to be friends with me. Kill everyone." Mizuki sighed in his heart, this boy is so difficult to deal with. Therefore, he had to resort to the ultimate move to suppress the situation. Advertisement: there is a person like you there, and there is also a monster living in his body. Others may not, but he will definitely accept you. Because you are the same kind of people. Are you the same kind of person as me? Gaara's eyes became brighter and brighter. "Come with me, your life will change completely." Gaara walked towards Mizuki without hesitation. Sand Shinobi Village, the land of wind, go to hell. It wasn't until the two were far away that Temari and Kankuro got rid of the genjutsu. The two of them were covered in sweat, their legs were trembling, and there was still fear on their faces. "What to do?" Kankuro asked. Tamari shook his head. That man is too scary. Gaara can't even use ninjutsu in front of him, and we can't stop him. Go back to the village. This matter is not something we can interfere with. Tamari looked at the direction Gaara left without much anxiety in her eyes. In fact, she very much hoped that Mizuki's words were true and that Gaara's life could change. No matter how he becomes, he is still better than the murderous demon. Mizuki takes Gaara and heads east. In the country of waves in the east, due to Mizuki's intervention, Zabuza and Minazuki Haku did not die like in the original work. Phoenix Village is really short of people. Konoha, after the chaos, quickly calmed down again. As soon as the third generation died, the major families immediately stopped waiting and watched and came out to end it. The Sound Ninja and Sand Shinobi who invaded Konoha had no resistance, and they were captured and killed, and it was over in a few hours. Chunin exam final venue, broken roof, Konoha's Anbu is collecting corpses. Jiraiya, Kakashi and other Konoha masters are here. Everyone looked expressionless as they looked at the corpse pressed into a meat patty. The death of third generation is everyone's default. Everyone has been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. Jiraiya walked up to Orochimaru's body, kicked it with his foot, and said, Orochimaru, stop pretending, I know you are not dead. As soon as he finished speaking, Orochimaru's body opened its mouth, a hand stretched out, and a new Orochimaru came out of it. It was so sticky that it made people want to vomit out their overnight meal. Jiraiya watched this scene expressionlessly, but he was complaining crazily in his heart. Disgusting snake. After Orochimaru came out, he was extremely weak and could not stand firmly. But he was still full of joy and said with a smile, Mizuki-kun, you are still too young. He left without even checking the body. Jiraiya. The way I see it, he has no intention of killing you, just like he spared me in the Hokage building. Orochimaru smiled. Jiraiya added, I heard that the third generation passed the position of Hokage to you before his death. Orochimaru nodded and said, not bad, Jiraiya. I won't agree. While speaking, a Rasengan hit Orochimaru in the face, blowing his head off. Sanin's battle between Jiraiya and Orochimaru begins. Orochimaru was seriously injured and weak, and could not even cast a summoning technique. He was no match for Jiraiya, and finally revealed his true form, White Snake Sage, and was killed by Jiraiya. He couldn't even run away, he was surrounded by Konoha's ninjas. The third Hokage of Konoha Village is dead, the fourth Kazekage of Sand Shinobi Village is dead, and Orochimaru of Sound Ninja Village is dead. This small-scale war between three villages came to an end at the cost of the death of three village chiefs. The only winner, Konoha Village rebel Mizuki. Mizuki's name spread throughout the ninja world in just a few days. He single-handedly killed three of the top leaders of the ninja village, which was an unprecedented feat in the entire ninja world. Mizuki took Gaara to the Land of Waves and looked at the bridge of the Land of Waves, which is still unfinished. Although there are my reasons, the most important thing is that Konoha is not responsible. I hope Minazuki Haku and Zabuza are still in the Land of Waves. Chapter 64. The Tragedy of the Dezoner Family. Jiraiya was in the Land of Waves at the time. Zabuza would never dare to do anything to Jiraiya when he saw her. This is why Mizuki came to the Land of Waves to find Zabuza and Haku. As long as Zabuza doesn't take action, he and Shiro won't die. As long as the two of them are not dead, he can drag them to the bird country and join the Phoenix Village that is about to be built. Phoenix Village is really short of people. Gaara followed Mizuki and showed no temper the whole time. Although murderous intent surged from time to time and he wanted to be a B****ch, he gave up with one look from Mizuki. No resistance. Gaara, do you know, what is love? Mizuki asked. Gaara said coldly. I don't know, I have never experienced the feeling of love. Mizuki shook his head. No, you have experienced that your uncle Yashimaru loved you until the moment he died. When Gaara heard the words, Yakshimaru, her emotions exploded and her eyes were about to burst. He wants to kill me, he wants me dead, he doesn't love me at all. Chakra surged from Gaara's body, sand floated around him, and murderous intent violently overflowed from his body. Mizuki glanced at Mangekyo and opened his left eye. With just one glance, Gaara was silenced, and the sand control technique immediately became ineffective. But even so, Gaara still had murderous intent and shouted, Kill, I'm going to kill you. He bared his teeth and claws, like a brutal beast, trying to tear Mizuki apart. Mizuki continued. Yashimaru lied to you. Yes, he does hate you because his sister was killed by you. But, as your uncle, his love for you far exceeds his hatred for you. If he really wanted to kill you, you would have died long ago. Sand Shinobi Village, the Land of Wind, is best to poison. He takes care of your food and daily life, and it's easy to kill you. Gaara stared at the panda and began to struggle in his eyes. The image of Yashimaru appeared in his mind, with that gentle smile and words full of doting, which made Gaara couldn't help but want to go back to the past. But soon, the assassination scene reappeared, and the beauty was shattered. No, that's not the case. He obviously wanted to kill me, not what you said. Mizuki explained. Because he went to test you on your father's order. His death will test whether you can control Shukaku. Gaara covered her head with her hands and shouted loudly. No, I don't believe it. Mizuki looked at the collapsed Gaara and did not use words to stimulate him. After a while, Gaara calmed down, but her mood was still unstable. Mizuki took him, walking on the sea, and soon arrived at the land of waves, heading to Dazuna's house. Upon arrival, they found the door had been broken into and no one was home. As expected, Mizuki had made a guess when he looked at the unfinished bridge. Obviously, Kakashi did not wait for the bridge to be built and terminated the mission early. Once Kakashi left, no one in Kato could resist him, so the bridge would naturally fail to be built. And if Dazuna goes against Kato, it will naturally not end well. Mizuki narrowed his eyes and found a nearby neighbor to ask. Dazuna, his daughter and grandson were all captured by Kato's people and tied up in the streets of the market. Hey, Dazuna was too impulsive and dared to resist Kato, now their family is doomed. Advertisement. Mizuki sighed, mentally cursing third Hokage for eating shit. Damn third generation. If third generation hadn't recalled him, Kato would have been killed by himself. If the third generation hadn't forced him to rebel against the village, he wouldn't have gone to the land of waves to take away Naruto and Sasuke, and Kato would have been eliminated by Team 7. All in all, it's third generation's fault that everything is wrong. Mizuki put all the blame on third generation. How long have they been tied up? Are they still alive? The neighbor said. I have been tied up every day for more than a month. Although I am not dead yet, it is better than dead. Mizuki finally felt better after hearing that he was not dead. He took Gaara to the market, and from afar he saw 3 wooden stakes standing on the street, and 3 people were tied to the wooden stakes. They were described as haggard, with chapped lips, faces full of pain, and eyes desperate and numb. The worst thing is that Inari, who is so young, suffers like this. No one around him dared to come forward to rescue him, not even to give him a sip of water. Mizuki stepped forward with a cold face. Immediately a samurai with a sword stepped forward to stop him. Go away. These 3 people have offended Lord Kato. No one is allowed to get close. Let the people of the country of waves see that this is the result of opposing Lord Kato. Mizuki raised his hand and grabbed the opponent's collar, throwing it upward and above his head. Shinra Tenjung. The repulsive force broke out, and the warrior screamed, rising hundreds of meters into the air, rising to the highest point, and then falling vertically. Universal pull. The samurai's falling speed immediately increased several times, as if a booster had been added. He fell like lightning and hit the ground with a snap. The scene turned into a bloody human-shaped pie. The scene is extremely uncomfortable. The street suddenly fell into dead silence. A look of fear instantly appeared on everyone's faces. Even Gaara, who was behind Mizuki, looked at Mizuki with a slightly changed look. He killed many people, and even his sand waterfall could crush people until they were buried. But in terms of visual impact, Sandstorm Funeral is not as good as this one. Because there is no sand blocking the view, it is particularly intuitive. The other warriors turned around and ran away. Some were so frightened that their legs softened and they peed their pants. They tried to run but fell to the ground. Mizuki glared with his left eye, and all these people fell into genjutsu. In the illusion, they see their worst fears. One after another, the screams resounded throughout the market. Mizuki was left alive, but the others were tortured by the genjutsu until they had a complete mental breakdown and died. Tell me where Kato is, deep in the forest of the island to the east. After asking for information, Mizuki grabbed the opponent's neck and used a slight force to kill him. After killing all these people, Mizuki felt a little better. He stepped forward and untied the 3 Dazunas from the wooden stakes. Tazuna and his daughter Tsunami were unconscious, only Inari was still conscious, and he stared at Mizuki with a pair of hateful eyes. Mizuki didn't care, and took the 3 people back to Dazuna's house, and found several of Dazuna's neighbors. Take good care of them, help them bathe and change clothes, get them some easy-to-digest food, and then ask a doctor to help them treat them. If you can do that, I will give you 100,000 taels each. Mizuki doesn't want to cause trouble, but he doesn't know how to take care of others, and Tsunami is a woman. He has to avoid suspicion, so he can only find someone to help. 100,000 taels per person is very high. Advertisement. Unexpectedly, the neighbors were hesitant and did not dare to agree. Mizuki said, don't be afraid, Kato will be killed by me soon, and no one will come to trouble you. Neighbors still don't dare. Mizuki was a little annoyed, so he took out a scroll, spread it out and started learning. Soon, he learned. Shadow clone technique. With a sound of bang, 3 shadow clones appeared next to him. This is my shadow clone. They're here to guard you. No one dares to do anything to you. The neighbors saw Shadow Clone and knew Mizuki was a ninja, so they finally agreed to take over the job. After the matter was resolved, Mizuki took Gaara to the island in the east. On the way, Gaara suddenly asked, did you save them because of love? Mizuki shook his head and said, this is not love, this is debt. Ode? Gaara frowned, he didn't understand. Then what is love? Mizuki. Love is sacrifice, like Yashimaru. In order to prevent the 4th Kazekage from killing you, Yashimaru sacrificed himself. Love is protection, just like the sand on your body. You don't need to control it, they will protect you and prevent you from being hurt. Gaara wondered. Does sand also have love? Mizuki. Sand has no love, but it can contain love. Someone placed their love for you on the sand. From then on, the sand became your guardian. Place love? Who is it? Gaara's expression changed slightly. Mizuki shook his head and did not continue. Some things will have a much worse effect if told by others. The two walked on the sea, Mizuki walking in front, with murderous intent in his eyes. Gaara followed, lowering his head and frowning in thought. He spread his hands and watched the sand peel off from his hands. He stared at the flying sand, trying to see who was hiding behind the sand. Someone came from the island in a small boat, wielding sticks and swords, and came towards the two Mizukis. It's all damned. Several kunai were shot out, and behind the kunai, there were detonating talismans. Dong dong dong. Each kunai was nailed to a boat. With the explosion, the boats were overturned and all the people on board fell into the water. Some people were injured and bleeding, and the smell of blood attracted sharks, which soon tore everyone apart and devoured them. Deep in the forest on the island, Zabuza bold and grandiose were sitting on the sofa, while Shiro was making tea. Across from him, Gato looked unhappy. Zabuza, that ninja named Mizuki is here again, and he's following a kid. Go kill them quickly. Zabuza took a sip of tea and said, Mizuki, Konoha Village S-class rebel ninja. Konoha has offered a reward of 30 million taels in the underground gold exchange for his whereabouts. There is a reward of 50 million taels for his head. 50 million taels, what did this Mizuki do to disgrace Konoha? Regarding 9 taels Jinchuriki being taken away by Mizuki, Konoha was tight-lipped and did not dare to make any announcement. Therefore, Mizuki's bounty amount is very high, but the outside world does not know why and can only rely on speculation. It's okay to kill him, but you have to pay 50 million taels. Zabuza said matter-of-factly. What happened in the Konoha Chunin exam has not spread yet, and Zabuza has no idea that Mizuki's strength is completely different from before. I will give you up to 5 million taels, Kaduo directly gave him a discount. If you don't agree, our cooperation will end here. Chapter 65. The immortal duo facing Kato's threat, Zabuza sneered. The decapitating sword swept across and was placed on Kato's neck from a few meters away. Boss Ka, you seem to be a little distracted. Do you think that just 2 unknown ninjas can deal with me? Cold sweat broke out on Kato's forehead and he shouted, 2 gentlemen, save me. The next moment, a hand with black tentacles rushed in from the window and grabbed Zabuza. Extremely fast, with a pop sound, Zabuza's chest was penetrated. But there was no blood flowing out of the wound. With a crash, Zabuza and his beheading sword all turned into water and fell to the ground. Water body, it seems that you have been prepared for it. A low voice sounded, and 2 men wearing black and red cloud trench coats were already standing in the house. The speaker wears a forehead protector from Taki Ninja Village Rebellious Ninja, and is covered by a mask below his eyes. His eyes are green, and his eyes show vicissitudes of life and indifference. None other than Kakuzu of the Akatsuki organization. Next to Kakuzu, Hidan was carrying the bloody march scythe on his back, and the Yunin village forehead protector was worn around his neck, with a mischievous look on his face. Who are you? Zabuza looked at the 2 of them and asked with a frown. He could feel the powerful and evil aura on the 2 of them. Shiro, wearing a kimono, stood next to Zabuza with worry on his face. Kakuzu said calmly, Kurigakure of the water country is a traitor to the ninja, Momochi Zabuza, known as the Demon Man, and the reward at the gold exchange is 15 million ryo. I've been looking for you for a long time and finally found you. Zabuza said, it turns out to be the famous bounty hunter Kakuzu from the money exchange. Why, are you also interested in my head? Kakuzu. No, I'm not interested at all. I'm only interested in money, and your head can be exchanged for money. Hidan on the side was already filled with murderous intent. Kakuzu, please stop being so nagging, I can't help it. When I think about the sight of these 2 people bleeding and screaming in pain later, I'm so looking forward to it. Kakuzu shouted. Shut up, I want to confirm. He turned to Gato and asked. I help you kill these 2 people, and you give me 30 million taels, right? Kato's eyes widened and he said, no, wasn't it agreed upon, 10 million taels? Kakuzu. Are you kidding? It's obviously 30 million taels. Gato. Mr. Kakuzu, you can't do this. You are just raising your price. As a bounty hunter with a reputation as a gold exchange house, what is your professional ethics? Kakuzu said calmly. Remember, in this world, only money will never go back on your word. Forget it if you don't agree, Hidan, let's go. Kaduo panicked and immediately said. I promise, 30 million taels, every penny will be given to you. Kakuzu. That's good. I never like people who are dishonest. If you go back on your word afterwards, I will kill you too. Also, I want cash. Gato was filled with hatred, but he still responded. I understand Mr. Kato's rules, I understand. Zabuza was already angry. It is unforgivable for these people to discuss the sale of their own heads in front of me, and then sit on the ground and raise the price. Just give me enough is enough. The beheading sword swept through thousands of armies, its broad blade was extremely oppressive. Advertisement, oh. Hidan shouted excitedly, blocking the beheading knife with his sickle. Kakuzu, I'm asking you to be so long-winded, but if you don't take action, I will take action first. Lord Evil God, I am about to offer you a sacrifice. You will definitely like the delicious pain. You bastards who don't understand other people's pain, God will punish you. When Mizuki took Gaara into the forest, he felt that there was a battle going on deep in the forest. The birds dispersed in fright, and the ground shook slightly from time to time. The violent chakra aura spreads wantonly, and the sounds of water, thunder, and wind are endless. Who did Zabuza fight with? Mizuki quickened his pace and soon arrived at the battlefield. Why are Kakuzu and Hidan here? Although they have never met, Mizuki recognized the immortal duo of the Akatsuki organization with just one glance. There are only a few people in the Akatsuki organization, and each one has its own distinct characteristics and is very easy to identify. At this time, Zabuza was entangled with Kakuzu. Zabuza's mist shinobi technique caused the battlefield where the two of them were to be shrouded in a thick fog that made them invisible. Even though Kakuzu had wind style, he couldn't blow away the overwhelming thick fog. Kakuzu released 4 masked monsters, and released various ninjutsu around them for free, forcing Zabuza to not dare to get close. For the time being, the two are evenly matched, and neither can do anything to defeat the other. On the other side, Bai used Ice Escape. The magic mirror ice crystal technique, and the body flicker technique that moves at high speed, make it impossible for Hidan to touch the corners of his clothes. While moving, Haku attacks Hidan with Senbon. However, Hidan has an immortal body and runs rampant without dodging or hiding from Senbon. Damn you kid, I don't believe I can't kill you. Hidan was furious and kept waving his sickle. It's useless. In this magic mirror ice crystal, I am invincible. Hidan shouted. In this case, I will break these damn ice cubes. He moved towards one side of the ice. In front of him, several senbons were fired at him, but Hidan didn't dodge at all. Even when a senbon was inserted into his eye, he only roared twice in pain, pulled out the senbon, and continued to rush forward. And his injured eye was repaired at a very fast speed. What kind of monster is this? Gaara was shocked. On the other side, Cardo and his men were almost D with fear. This person's name is Hidan. He is a rebellious ninja from the Chunin village in the country of Yu. He joined the evil god cult, his body was transformed, and he became immortal. No matter how serious his injuries were, they could not kill him. It can be regarded as an immortal existence. Gaara remained silent, staring at Hidan with murderous intent in his eyes. Mizuki glanced at Gaara and was speechless. Is this kid probably thinking about whether Hidan will die after being squeezed into pulp by a sandstorm burial? Mizuki is both envious and curious about Hidan's immortality. Like impure world reincarnation, but different. Impure world reincarnation, after the body is broken, it will automatically repair. Hidan's immortality is not that useful. If his head falls off, Kakuzu will have to sew it back up. But the immortal body combined with the blood of death Ping is extremely powerful. As long as the blood is obtained, a life can be taken. Advertisement. It would be interesting if Kakuzu and Hidan merged into one. Combining the immortal body with earth resentment, he should be invincible except for the sealing technique. At least it won't be completely blocked after being buried by Shikamaru like in the anime. At this time, Hidan rushed to an ice mirror and slashed at the ice mirror with his sickle. Don't even think about it. Shiro's body floated out of the mirror at a very fast speed and kicked Hidan in the abdomen to force him to retreat. Hidan's speed suddenly increased at this moment, and the side slashed towards Shiro like a gust of wind. This guy is not a single-minded person. He has been hiding his clumsiness in the past, and now he finally seizes the opportunity. Bai immediately changed direction, but it was still too slow. Hidan took off his scythe directly, a rope was connected to the end of the scythe's handle, and the tip of the knife scratched Bai's calf. Blood bursts out. Ha ha ha, come on, feel the pain with me. Hidan laughed and moved on his toes, drawing a small altar on the ground. He raised the sickle, licked the tip of the blade with his tongue, and swallowed the blood on it into his belly. The next moment, his whole person changed and turned into black and white. You have been cursed by me. The ceremony officially begins. He took out a pitch-black spear from his arms, raised his hand and stabbed himself in the abdomen. Universal pull. The drama couldn't go on any longer. Mizuki took action immediately, but he couldn't watch Shiro being killed. Hidan's body was separated from the altar on the ground by gravity. The spear in his hand had already penetrated into his abdomen. Ah, ha 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 ha, Hidan laughed excitedly. The pain in his body made him immersed in it, and he didn't even realize that he had been pulled out of the altar and fell into Mizuki's hands. Laugh at your mother. It sounds so g ugly. Mizuki grabbed Hidan's hair, pulled it, and tore the entire head off. Hidan finally noticed something was wrong and opened his eyes. Hey, why can't I feel my body? My neck hurts. No, why did my head fall off again? Hey, who are you? Why did you rip my head off? Help me put it back on again. Gaara on the side subconsciously took 2 steps back. The corpses were separated, but they were still talking. Gaara used to think that the monster inside her was already weird, but now this one is even weirder. Mizuki calmly took out the plastic bag, put Hidan's head in it, and put it into the storage ring. Taking out another big trouble, he also packed up Hidan's body and put it away. The secret of immortality is worth studying. Take it back, cut the body into pieces, and give it to Naruto and the others. Maybe I can also have immortality. If it doesn't work out, ask Orochimaru to cooperate and study it together. On the other side, Kato was so frightened that Hidan was taken down without any resistance in Mizuki's hands. Run away. Under the protection of a group of men, he fled towards the outskirts of the forest. Mizuki frowned slightly. If you want to run away, let's go to the next life. Chapter 66. Zabuza turns back, apparition. Mizuki appeared in front of Kato and pinched his neck. Save me! Kill him! Save me! The surrounding samurai swarmed up and slashed at Mizuki with their swords. Mizuki disappeared with Kato, leaving dozens of detonating symbols in place. Boom! After the explosion, blood and flesh flew everywhere, and the area was cleared immediately. Kato struggled and said with fear on his face, "Spare my life, spare my life. I have money, a lot of money. Don't kill me, I'm willing to give you 50 million taels." Mizuki scoffed. Tisk, 50 million taels, I don't like it. Kaduo said hurriedly, 8,000, 80 million taels. Not so good. Mizuki put a hand on Kato's head and shouted softly, "The way of the world, memory reading. Paine's 6 paths human path can read memories, which is easier to use than the Yamanaka family's memory probe." Kato's memory was read by Mizuki, and a large amount of information was mastered by Mizuki. Mizuki is most concerned about Kato's money, found it. As expected of a famous rich man in the ninja world, he has so much money. Not to mention those fixed assets, the cash alone exceeds 3 billion, which is close to 100 asuma. Kaduo didn't dare to deposit this cash in the bank, so he found a hidden place to hide it. Except for himself, not even his wife knew where she was hiding. Now, Mizuki knows. "You. What did you do to me?" Kato shouted in horror. Mizuki was too lazy to pay attention to him, and with a strong hand, he broke his neck and sent him to his death. This kind of villain who does all kinds of evil by selling drugs and contraband, embezzling other companies and countries, Mizuki kills him without any sense of guilt. Hidan was dealt with by Mizuki, and Shiro simply thanked him and rushed into the thick fog to help Zabuza. The dense fog blocked the view, and even the eternal Mangekyo and Rinnegan could not see clearly, and could only see a blurry picture. Kakuzu's strength is cage level. Not to mention the 5 lives, the 5 major attribute ninjutsu were also released. Zabuza and Haku couldn't get close at all, so they could only use the thick fog to fight guerrilla warfare. But for Kakuzu, it doesn't cause any real harm, but similarly, in the thick fog, Kakuzu's vision was blocked and he was unable to hurt Zabuza and Haku. Good for nothing Hidan, you can't even deal with a brat. In that case, let's not waste time. The fire-style mask monster and the wind-style mask monster get close and use fire-style at the same time. Head hard and wind-style. Suppress. The 2 ninjutsu are combined into one, forming a powerful compound ninjutsu. Compound ninja technique fire wind and waves. A large-scale sea of fire appeared, and the dense fog was quickly evaporated. Even if Zabuza increased the chakra output, the mist shinobi technique was already ineffective in the face of this flame. Advertisement: the fog dissipates and Kakuzu's vision is restored. Zabuza was standing on the river, quickly forming seals with his hands. Shou Shen Mao Zi Hai Yu Chou Wu Si Zi Yin. Water-style water dragon bomb. Haha, 44 seals. Your spellcasting speed is too slow. Kakuzu scoffed. The wind-style mask monster spit out high-pressure wind balls and shot at Zabuza. Zabuza immediately moved to avoid the attack, and the seal on his hand continued. Zi Chou Shen Yu Ren Zi Hai Yu 44 seals, finally completed. Water-style. Water dragon bomb technique. The water flow swirled around him and formed a water dragon shape above his head. At the same time, Haku appeared in front of Zabuza. The secret technique of ice escape. Extreme cold and quick freezing. He blew out cold air from his mouth, and the water dragon immediately froze and turned into an ice dragon. Composite ninja technique. Ice dragon technique. The ice dragon roared and charged at Kakuzu, baring its teeth and claws, and moving as nimbly as a living creature. The surrounding temperature dropped rapidly, as if from a tropical rainforest to an Antarctic glacier in an instant. Wherever the ice dragon goes, the water vapor in the air freezes into small ice crystals, which fall like frost and emit colorful light in the sun. The entire ice dragon was also reflected in beautiful 7 colors, which was very gorgeous. Hey guys, these are 2 artists. This visual effect is amazing. Mizuki's eyes lit up. And the power of this technique is definitely not low. Even though he was hundreds of meters away, Mizuki could still feel the chill coming towards his face. This low temperature can freeze almost everything. This technique is quite decent, Kakuzu said calmly. The fire-style mask monster opens its mouth and breathes fire. But before the flame could get close to the ice dragon, it was extinguished by the extremely cold air. Kakuzu looked calm, and the fire-style mask monster and the wind-style mask monster used the compound ninjutsu, flame wind and waves again. Facing such terrifying flames, the ice dragon was finally affected, and the low temperature began to rise, but the ice dragon did not melt. Ice escape belongs to the bloodline limit, and its energy level is higher than ordinary escape techniques. Even the wind and fire compound ninjutsu is not enough in front of ice escape. But no matter how strong you are, there is a limit. Kakuzu's masked monsters don't even need seals. They use wind style and fire style one after another, giving them unlimited firepower. The ice dragon couldn't hold it anymore and began to melt. The melted water dragon continued to rush towards Kakuzu, and its power was still not weak. The water-style mask moved, opening its mouth and spitting out a water dragon of about the same size. The 2 water dragons collided and cancelled each other out. Zabuza stood on the river, watching this scene, his eyes unchanged. Why don't you use your full strength? The other person is not a good person. It is not worth using your kindness on him. Minazuki Shiro's character is too kind, and he has never killed anyone except his own father. No matter who the enemy is, he will always hold back. Mr. Zabuza, the opponent is very powerful and we are no match. You go first and I will hold him back. Advertisement. Zabuza said coldly, you will die. Haku smiled slightly and said, when I first met Mr. Zabuza, I knew that my greatest pursuit in this life was to die for Mr. Zabuza. Zabuza said coldly, in that case, then I will satisfy you. After saying that, Zabuza turned around and walked away without any intention of staying. Shiro looked at Kakuzu and said firmly, if you want to kill Mr. Zabuza, you have to get through me first. I won't let you cross this wall before I die. As soon as he finished speaking, the river surged out of the water and quickly froze. After a while, an ice wall hundreds of meters long and more than 10 meters high appeared. Haku stood on the ice wall, facing Kakuzu. Behind him, Zabuza quickly left and disappeared into the dense forest. Next to Mizuki, Gaara's heart boiled with murderous intent. Why, he is clearly no match, and he clearly knows that he will die. Why is he willing to block the enemy for the sake of that person named Zabuza? What is this? Mizuki said calmly. This is protection, this is love. To Haku, Zabuza was everything to him. His mother was killed by his father and the villagers, and his father was killed by himself. Haku, who had lost everything since he was a child, didn't want to lose Zabuza. Even if he sacrifices himself, he will keep Zabuza alive. Although Zabuza had always regarded him as a tool, Haku understood that Zabuza just didn't express himself. The two of them have long been dependent on each other. Gaara growled. But Zabuza ran away. Such a person is not worthy of his love and protection at all. Gaara thought of Yashimaru. She obviously loved him so much, why did he want to assassinate her? Even if he was forced by his father, why didn't he tell himself the truth? At this moment, he saw Shiro as himself and Zabuza as Yashimaru. Did you really escape? Mizuki smiled and pointed. Look. Gaara followed Mizuki's fingers and saw Zabuza, who had escaped, returned. Gaara's murderous aura froze. At this time, his psychology was greatly shocked. Mr. Zabuza, you. Zabuza said coldly. You were raised by me and you were my tool. I can't watch you die. If you want to leave, let's go together. Haha, boring emotions. In my eyes, only money is the most loyal. I'll kill you two first, and then I'll kill the two people watching over there. The white-haired one, if I'm not mistaken, is Mizuki, the rebel ninja of Konoha. The bounty in the money exchange is as high as 50 million taels. Those who have not been caught by the leader will die in my hands today. Kakuzu seemed to have had enough, and opened up his firepower. Zabuza and Haku immediately fell into a disadvantage. The two were chased and beaten by the masked monster, unable to fight back. Mizuki looked at it for a while and felt it was almost done. Taking action now can be considered a life-saving grace. I hope Zabuza will not be ignorant of current affairs. Chapter 67. Throw money at Zabuza, universal pull. In the battlefield, Zabuza and Haku were suddenly pulled by a force and flew towards Mizuki. In a blink of an eye, the two of them were pulled in front of Mizuki. The decapitating sword in Zabuza's hand struck directly at Mizuki. Mizuki used disapparation to get out of the way and shouted, "Stop, I'm here to help you." Zabuza frowned, and although he was confused, he still stopped. At this time, Kakuzu chased after him, but when he saw the Rinnegan in Mizuki's right eye, his expression changed drastically. You actually have eyes like this. Damn it, the information is wrong. Before he finished speaking, he had already turned around and ran away madly. Kakuzu knows how powerful the Rinnegan is. Pain, the leader who claims to be a god, definitely does not brag about the name God. Otherwise, Kakuzu would not be willing to succumb to pain. Turning around and running away is the wisest choice. Mizuki raised his hand. You're here, why are you leaving? Universal pull acted on Kakuzu's body, directly pulling him back. Fight. Kakuzu couldn't help but attack Mizuki with his tentacle fist. Under the influence of gravity, the punch became faster. The other four masked monsters also released their ninjutsu and attacked Mizuki. Shinra Tenjung. All attacks collapsed under the force of Shinra Tianjung. Next, the screw machine gun. Mizuki opened his bow left and right with both hands, and shot out Rasengan one after another. Kakuzu's four masked monsters were riddled with piles of meatballs in the blink of an eye, and their four hearts exploded before they could hold on for 2 seconds. 4 lives were just gone, with no power to resist. There was no time to even dodge. Earth style. Diving in the earth, seeing that he couldn't escape, Kakuzu immediately used earth style to sneak underground. Mizuki frowned. His echolocation is only effective in air, not in liquids or solids. Now that Kakuzu is hiding in the dirt, Mizuki really can't pinpoint his location. Humph, I don't believe you won't come out. Mizuki narrowed his eyes and soared into the air, reaching 1,000 meters altitude. The entire island was shrouded in his vision. The supervision brought by Sharingan and Rinnegan allowed him to observe any disturbance on the island. Not long after, he saw Kakuzu peeking out from the ground next to the pier on the south side of the island. He looked around and found no one before he completely emerged from the soil. Where the hell did he come from? Rinnegan? Kakuzu's green eyes were filled with annoyance. I lost 4 hearts at once, all of which I found with great difficulty. Damn it, Even the original ninja god Senju Hashirama didn't leave me in such a mess. I have to make more money to appease my wounded heart. While cursing, Kakuzu jumped on a small boat, turned on the diesel engine, turned the power to maximum, and prepared to leave. But the next moment, a familiar feeling enveloped him. Advertisement. His body floated up and flew backwards. How could it be? There was no one around just now. Kakuzu looked extremely sad and wanted to use the ninjutsu, but found that the chakra was very chaotic and the ninjutsu could not be used at all. It's over. At this time, Mizuki stood on the shore. His left eye had opened the eternal Mangekyo, and the high soul life enveloped Kakuzu. When Kakuzu flew in front of him, Mizuki caught him. Immediately afterwards, several black rods were inserted into Kakuzu's limbs and abdomen, blocking his chakra and mobility. Sharingan again, Rinnegan again, what kind of monster are you? Mizuki didn't answer, but put his right hand on the top of Kakuzu's head. The secret technique of Taki Ninja Village, Genyu, is a good thing. Not only does it increase your strength, it can also extend your life. When Kakuzu steals the hearts of others, he also steals the life force of others. This greatly extended his life. Although his contemporaries died, he was still alive and very young. By relying on the Earth's resentment, he can even achieve eternal life. In comparison, Orochimaru's living corpse reincarnation is simply weak. Not only is the body weak before and after each reincarnation, the soul will also be seriously damaged, with severe side effects. The only advantage is probably that you can change your gender. If you want a boy, be a boy. If you want a girl, be a girl. Whatever you want, double happiness. The way of the world. Memory reading. Kakuzu lived to be nearly 90 years old and had many and complex memories. It took much longer to explore Kakuzu's memory than to explore Kato's. Actively ignoring the irrelevant stuff, Mizuki selects only the important information. A few minutes later, Mizuki successfully searched for the practice method of the secret technique of Yu, and wrote it down in detail. He would not practice this kind of technique that seemed weird and disgusting. But this does not prevent the apprentice from practicing. If this powerful secret technique is given to a disciple, and the system can return it at will, he will definitely get a stronger secret technique. In addition to the earthly resentment, Kakuzu actually knew where the hero's water was sealed, and even secretly opened the seal and drank it once. Hero's water, what a good thing. The heroic water of Takainen village is holy water that can only be produced every 100 years by the giant tree in Takainen village. After a ninja drinks it, his chakra can increase tenfold. However, this thing has side effects and will swallow up life force, so Taki Ninja Village sealed it to prevent it from harming others. Kakuzu has 5 hearts, 5 lives, and strong vitality, so he is not afraid of the side effects of hero water. He once sneaked back to Takainen village, opened the seal and drank the hero water secretly. This is also the main reason why he keeps using ninjutsu during battles and doesn't worry about not having enough chakra. 10 times chakra, no joke. If I get the hero's water and give it to Naruto, won't it explode? As a member of the Uzumaki clan, Naruto's vitality far exceeds that of ordinary people, so he doesn't have to worry about side effects. Moreover, Naruto already has a lot of chakra. If it were to be improved tenfold, it would be very exciting just thinking about it. After giving it to Naruto, the system will return new hero water. If I drink it, won't the chakra explode? Isn't this more efficient than delivering ramen? It's a big deal. It's definitely a big deal. Mizuki was almost drooling. The Kakuzu in his hand was worthless. Mizuki made a new black rod and pierced Kakuzu's last heart. Kakuzu of the immortal duo, die. Advertisement. The seal scroll on Kakuzu's body contains tens of millions of taels of money, which are all bounties from the underground gold exchange, and now they have become Mizuki's development fund. If you give this money to your apprentice, you can return it 100 times, which is billions. Mizuki returned to the center of the island and found Gaara confronting Zabuza. There is a tendency to take action if there is a disagreement. Mizuki looked at Gaara in surprise, thinking, this kid actually held back? According to his past personality, wouldn't he just do it directly? It seems that my deliberate guidance during this period has had some effect. He was very pleased. Zabuza looked at Mizuki and asked, why are you helping me? Mizuki said bluntly, I have established a ninja village and I hope you can join. Ridiculous. Zabuza sneered and said, I assassinated the 4th Mizukage and defected from the Mist Ninja Village because I hated the old life of following orders. I like to be unrestrained, but you ask me to join your ninja village and become your subordinate. Is this possible? Mizuki looked at Zabuza and said calmly, you assassinated 4th Mizukage because you were dissatisfied with the tyranny of the village and wanted to overthrow 4th Mizukage's blood mist policy. It was not because you disliked following orders. Zabuza's eyes changed. You seem cold-blooded and murderous on the surface, but deep down you hide a kindness that even you don't want to admit. You work for Kato, but you actually want to find Kato's treasury, seize Kato's money, and then donate it to the orphanage. Zabuza growled. You're talking nonsense. Mizuki smiled and said, do you think what you are doing is very hidden? Kato installed a listening device in your residence and heard your intentions clearly. Otherwise, he would not have invited Kakuzu and Hidan to kill you. Zabuza. Awkward. Mizuki just doesn't understand. He's obviously doing good things, so why did he act like a thief? Doing evil in a high profile and doing good in secret, what kind of mentality is this? But no matter what, although Zabuza is ambitious and kills countless people, he still has a kind side. To blame, I can only blame Kirigakure's bloody policy for cultivating him into a murderous demon. Join my ninja village and I will give you money. Zabuza asked. How much can you give me? Mizuki smiled faintly. You can have as much as you want. Even if you want to feed all the orphans in the ninja world, you can do it. Zabuza's breathing suddenly sped up a bit. I want 30 million in cash right now. Mizuki waved his hand and a pile of banknotes appeared on the ground. Here is 300 million in cash. Mizuki was also a little excited. How should I put it? It feels really good to be a rich man. This kind of heroic spending of money is a pleasure that ordinary people cannot experience at all. All this money is returned by the system. The items returned by the system cannot be used as basic items to be returned again, so the money can no longer generate more money. Mizuki does not feel bad at all if he gives it to Zabuza. Zabuza stared at the money on the ground with wide eyes, breathing even faster. Join my ninja village, and I will give you 300 million a year to fund the orphanage. If you agree, the money on the ground will be given to you now. Zabuza opened his mouth. Actually, 30 million is enough for a long time, and there aren't that many orphans in the ninja world. Mizuki smiled. This trip was not in vain. Chapter 68. How to enter the toilet. Zabuza took Haku, and Haku took the money to fund the orphanage. Mizuki took Gaara to the public toilet on the pier, and then walked to the women's toilet. Gaara. This is the women's room. I know, you are a woman? No, I'm a man. But this is the women's room. I know. While talking, Mizuki had already entered the women's bathroom. At this time, in Gaara's mind, Mizuki has been labeled pervert. To be honest, Mizuki was also very reluctant. His education did not allow him to do such a thing. However, for Cardo's 3 billion cash inheritance, he resolutely abandoned his morality. 3 billion taels, let alone entering the women's restroom, even if he is allowed to be naked. He can make a decision after thinking for 0.1 seconds. After entering, walk into the innermost compartment, then reach out and push the wall, and a secret door will open. This is a secret room with a safe 3 meters long and 2 meters high on each of the 3 walls. This is Cardo's treasury. Who would have thought that Cardo would hide money in the women's bathroom? Mizuki walked to the safe on the left, easily opened the combination lock, and opened the door. The stench of money hits you. Suck, smells so good. The cabinet was filled with banknotes, stacks neatly arranged. He put all the money into the storage ring, then opened the second and third safe and emptied all the money. 3 billion in cash, I'll give it all to Naruto next month. If I'm lucky, it will be returned 10,000 times. Then I really won't be able to use it all. When Mizuki walked out of the women's room, Gaara looked at him wrongly and stood further away. Mizuki did not explain and took Gaara away from the island. When Kato's head was hung on the street in the market, the people were numb at first, but gradually, everyone's mood began to change. Some people began to doubt, began to discuss, began to confirm, and began to cheer. The atmosphere changed from depressing to cheerful. At Dazna's house, Inari was lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling blankly. There was a knock on the door, and Mizuki pushed the door open and entered. Inari saw Mizuki and hatred immediately rose in her eyes. Mizuki said, Kato has been killed by me, and all his men are also dead. Inari yelled, I will never trust you Konoha village ninjas again. I'm sorry. Mizuki sighed and exited the room. Dazuna had woken up. Mizuki saw Dazuna and told him that Kato was dead. He left some money and left with Gaara. Things are going wrong in the country of waves, and it's time to leave. On the pier, Zabuza and Haku were already waiting. The 4 of them gathered together and took the boat towards the land of fire. In the country of waves, news of the destruction of the Kato group spread, and everyone began to cheer. Anali heard the noise outside, and when he heard the words, Kato is dead, the expression on his face became stunned. Mizuki's face appeared in his mind. 3 days later, Dazna resumed work on the unfinished bridge. Advertisement after another 3 days, the bridge was completed, and Azuna named it, Mizuki Bridge. The 4 of them headed west. Passing by a public toilet outside a small town, everyone went to use it. Bai was seen walking towards the men's room. Gaara. This is the men's room. I know, you are a man? Yes, no, you are wearing such fancy clothes, you are obviously a woman. No, I'm a man. Gaara watched Bai enter the men's room, and stood outside the door of the men's room with a frown. It didn't matter whether he entered or not. Mizuki deliberately chose a road that would pass through Konoha. When they arrived near Konoha village, Mizuki asked the 3 of them to rest for a while, and then entered Konoha alone. At the gate of Konoha, Mizuki wore a bamboo hat and walked straight in. Azumo and Zeit, who were guarding the gate, seemed to be blind. Mizuki's original level of Genjutsu was very low, but since he obtained the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, performing Genjutsu is as easy as eating and drinking, and his level of Genjutsu has improved by an unknown number of levels. In Konoha Hospital, Xiao Li was lying on the hospital bed, staring blankly at the ceiling, his eyes no longer as bright as before. During the battle with Gaara, he forcibly opened the 6th gate of the 8 inner gates, causing severe backlash in his body. All his bones were broken to varying degrees, and his tendons were severely damaged. The doctor announced that even if his injuries were healed, he could no longer exercise strenuously. Even if Tsunade Haim, the strongest medical ninja in the ninja world, took action, he would not be able to return to his previous state. Not to mention, Tsunade hasn't returned to Konoha yet. Mizuki came to the hospital, transformed into little Sakura, and walked into the ward with a bouquet of flowers and a basket of apples. Sakura-chan, thank you for coming to see me. The flowers are beautiful, I like them very much. Ding. Host awarded disciple Lock Lee a bouquet of flowers for visiting a patient, and received 800 times the return. Host receives a bouquet of flowers for visiting patients that never fades. Eternal and magical, it's magical, but it's of no use to Mizuki. Ding. Host grants disciple Rock Lee a basket of apples, triggering a 300-fold return. Host received a basket of delicious apples, which taste good and are rich in vitamins and trace elements. Eating them can speed up the patient's recovery. Mizuki was speechless. These 2 awards were in vain. However, the big head is at the back. Mizuki came to the bedside and imitated little Sakura's tone and asked, Lee, what are your plans for the future? Xiao Li said with firm eyes. I will not give up. Teacher Guy said that the human spirit will affect the body. As long as the spirit persists, the physical damage will slowly heal itself. Although it is very slow, I will keep waiting, and work hard for it. Like the original work, Xiao Li did not give up. Mizuki said, I once obtained a secret technique during a mission. After practicing it, the body will be transformed. Any injuries on the body can be repaired and the lifespan can be extended. I want to teach you this secret technique. Xiao Li's eyes suddenly shone, and he asked excitedly, is there really such a secret technique? Little Sakura nodded and said, this secret technique comes from Taki Ninja Village and is called Earth Resentment U. Xiao Li was very excited, but soon, the excitement on his face turned into disappointment. My chakra level is extremely low, almost non-existent, so I can't even perform the most basic free body technique. As for the secret technique, I probably won't be able to master it in my lifetime. Mizuki. At least there is hope. You also said you won't give up. Besides, you don't have to worry about chakra, advertisement. As he spoke, he took out a scroll and explained, this is the chakra refining method of the Uchiha clan. Using this method to refine chakra is 100 times faster than the ordinary refining method. After speaking, he took out another scroll and said, this scroll records the cultivation method of the Earth Resentment U secret technique. Please take the time to study it yourself. He placed both scrolls under Lee's pillow. Ding. Host granted his disciple Lock Lee the S-level secret technique, Earth Resentment and U cultivation method, which triggered a 3037-fold return. Congratulations to Host, for obtaining the SS-level secret technique in the Heavenly Resentment U cultivation method. TNUU. After completing the cultivation, the body can be liquefied, and can invade other living things to steal vitality. There is no limit to the amount of vitality that can be taken. The vitality can restore all injuries, and will not age or die before it is exhausted. Mizuki smiled. The immortal technique is here, and after learning the Tensai U and taking away a lot of life force, can I use the Rinne Tensai technique at will? This return is really awesome. The only trouble is that what is returned is the cultivation method, and you have to spend time practicing it yourself. SS-level secret skills are not easy to practice. After the matter is done, Mizuki leaves. Xiao Li moved his head, feeling the 2 scrolls under the pillow, and felt a sense of expectation in his heart. At this moment, there was a knock on the door, and little Sakura and Ino walked in together, each holding a bouquet of flowers. Li, we're here to see you. Xiao Li. Sakura-chan, you. Little Sakura asked in confusion. Xiao Li, what's wrong with you? Is there something wrong? Xiao Li said. Sakura-chan, I have a question. Have you been here a few minutes ago? Little Sakura said, no, I was with Ino a few minutes ago, on the way to the hospital. What's wrong? Did someone use the transformation technique to look like me as a prank? Xiao Li. You just came here, but I didn't do anything weird. I just sent you flowers and apples. I don't know who it is. Xiao Li subconsciously hid the scroll matter. At this time, Mizuki was wearing a bamboo hat and strutting towards the gate of Konoha. The crisp sound of bells was carried to Mizuki's ears along the wind, and the chakra in his body fluctuated slightly, and then returned to silence. The eyes under the bamboo hat looked out the door. 2 men wearing black-red cloud windbreakers and hats also came into view. They were walking into the door calmly, as casually as if they were walking into the front door of their own home. Azumo and ZT, the gatekeepers, were completely unaware. Uchiha Itachi and Hoshigaki Kisame are here. Konoha's secret plan was well done, and Uchiha Itachi didn't know it yet, but Sasuke had been taken away by Mizuki. When Konoha was attacked and the news of the death of the 3rd generation spread, Itachi missed his brother and came to Konoha immediately, fearing that his brother would be killed by Danzo. Danzo's death was also a top-secret matter. Mizuki walked forward without stopping. Kisame raised his hand to touch Samahata on his back. His colleague turned his head and reminded him. 1 dozen Kisong, this person seems not to be affected by your illusion. Should we? Kisame, we are not here to start a war. There is no need to make too much noise. This person should not belong to Konoha like us, so there is no need to pay attention to him. I can see that he is a master. Chakra must be delicious, but it's a pity. Kisame put down his hand. The 2 parties were like this, one walking out and the other walking in, passing each other without paying any attention to the other. For the current Mizuki, killing these 2 people is not difficult, but it is unnecessary and has no benefit. As for Kisame, Mizuki still admires him a little. People who can make Might Guy remember his name are somewhat charming. As for Uchiha Itachi, he tried to kill him several times. To be honest, Mizuki wanted to do it immediately. But he was very sensible and was not dazzled by hatred. If I kill him, Sasuke will hate me when he finds out, terminate the master-disciple relationship with me and leave. A talented S-level apprentice like Sasuke is a solid foundation for Mizuki to become stronger and must not be lost. Better, leave it to Sasuke. Chapter 69. Establishment of Phoenix Village. Mizuki and the others returned to the Bird Country, and the ninja team in Phoenix Village expanded from 6 to 9 people. He invested more money, hired more workers, and accelerated the construction of the village. Soon, the first building of Phoenix Ninja Village was completed. Fungying Building. This is an 8 trigrams building. If you look down from the air, you can see that the building is a regular octagon with a black and white yin and yang in the center. The building is 9 feet high and 33 feet in circumference. It has 36 large rooms, 72 small rooms, and 108 windows. Mizuki is not an architect, but he designed this Phoenix building. It does not pursue any aesthetic feeling, but adds various Chinese elements. Yin and Yang, 8 trigrams, 9 palaces, 36 heavenly gangs, 72 earthly evils. Regardless of whether it was useful or not, after building such a building, he felt intimate while sitting in it. Downstairs from 8 trigrams, 9 people stood looking at the strangely shaped and magnificent building in front of them. Mizuki also looked at it carefully, and the more he looked at it, the more strange it became, but he couldn't tell what was strange. Not just him, others seemed to feel the same way. Naruto looked puzzled and said, I don't know if it's an illusion, but I always feel that this house makes me feel very friendly and quiet. Especially when you close your eyes, it feels like you are lying on the soft lawn, enjoying the breeze, and all worries disappear. When Naruto said this, Mizuki immediately realized that this was indeed the feeling. Everyone else seems to feel the same way. Gaara, who had always been murderous and fierce-eyed, actually closed his eyes and his face softened. Everyone has no idea what is going on. Inside Naruto, in the sealed space, the sleeping Nine Tails suddenly opened his eyes. This is, the moment Nine Tails made a sound, Mizuki turned around suddenly and looked at Naruto's abdomen. The next moment, Mizuki's spiritual body appeared in the sealed space, standing outside the fence. Nine Tails, you know what happened, right? Nine Tails saw the 3 Magatama in Mizuki's left eye and roared angrily. Damn Uchiha, even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. Mizuki smiled and said, Nine Tails, I have no enmity with you, and I have no ill will towards you. You don't need to be so angry. In addition, I am not of the Uchiha clan. Nine Tails. No way, it's not the Uchiha clan. Why is there a Sharingan? I feel this powerful and evil eye power very clearly. It is the same eternal Mangekyo Sharingan as that guy from Madara. Mizuki smiled lightly and said, then look at my right eye again. As he finished speaking, his right eye opened up the Rinnegan. This is. How is this possible? Why do you have the eyes of an old man? Nine Tails opened his mouth in surprise and looked at Mizuki in disbelief. I'm different from others. I have no ill intentions towards you, so, can you tell me what is happening outside? HMPH. Nine Tails snorted coldly, closed his eyes, lay down and pretended to sleep. Mizuki didn't want to answer at all. Mizuki. Just then, Naruto also came in. Mizuki-sensei. Why are you here? Advertisement Mizuki. Oh, it's okay. Come in and chat with this big fox. Naruto. It's so fierce, what's there to talk about? Mizuki. It's normal to be vicious after being locked up for a long time. In fact, it's still very cute. Nine Tails couldn't bear it anymore, opened his eyes and shouted, shut up, it's so noisy. Mizuki shook his head and exited the sealed space. Nine Tails must know, but it can't help it if it doesn't tell. There must be a lot to be said for it being surprised. We have to find a way to get Nine Tails to talk. It might be of great benefit to Phoenix Village. After thinking about it, it was up to Naruto to do this. Telling Naruto the past of Nine Tails and letting Naruto enlighten Nine Tails is definitely the most effective. The construction of Phoenix Village continues. The village plan was also designed by Mizuki and continues to be arranged according to the 8 trigrams. Hospitals, schools, markets, houses, parks, lakes, training grounds. Each has its own place. After the Hoi Tower was completed and the interior was decorated, Mizuki invited the daimyos and officials from Tori Country, as well as many people from Tori Country to watch the fun. Witnessed by everyone, the Phoenix Village establishment ceremony officially begins, and Mizuki will also be named First Generation Phoenix. In fact, the daimyo is unwilling, because only the village chiefs of the 5 great ninja villages are qualified to receive the name of Kage. In Shounen villages and other small countries, if the village chief got the name of Kage, he would be laughed at. For example, there is a Hoshikage in the Hoshi Ninja village in the Bear Country. Because of this, the Bear Country has become a laughing stock in the ninja world, and the daimyos of the Bear Country cannot hold their head high in front of the daimyos of surrounding countries. Now, this tragic thing is about to happen in the Bird Country. One can imagine the mood of the daimyo of Bird Country. However, it doesn't work if you don't canonize him. After all, the fact that the 3rd Hokage, the 4th Kage, and Orochimaru were killed by Mizuki has already spread to the Bird Country. Everyone in the Bird Country, from the daimyo to the officials, is afraid of Mizuki. Such a powerful person could easily destroy the bird country. How could the daimyo and officials dare to refuse such a cruel figure if he wanted to be in the shadow? Besides, the ninja villages in other countries all depend on the daimyo for their existence. Without the daimyo to provide military expenditures, the ninja villages will not be able to develop or even gradually decline. As for the Phoenix village established by Mizuki, she did not need money from her daimyo at all. Mizuki even invested a large amount of money in the daimyo mansion. Therefore, strictly speaking, Mizuki, the Phoenix Shadow, is self-proclaimed. Although, there are only 9 ninjas in the entire Phoenix village. However, this does not prevent Mizuki from calling himself a shadow. Anyone disagree? Then I'll beat him until he agrees. Now I declare that the Phoenix Ninja Village is officially established, and Mizuki-sama takes office as the first-generation Hokage of the Phoenix Village. I hope that under the leadership of Master Mizuki, Phoenix Village can become a powerful shinobi village. I also hope that under the protection of Phoenix Village, the people of the bird country will live in peace and prosperity and will not suffer from war. Mizuki walked up to the high platform. At this time, he had put on a black god robe with the words, First-generation Mehwang, written on the back. He is also wearing a hat exclusive to the movie, with the word, Phoenix, written on it. I am not an ambitious person. I thought I would live in Konoha until I die in battle or die of old age. However, things didn't go as planned. The third Hokage suspected that I wanted to defect, so without any evidence, they ordered Danzo's roots to assassinate me several times. Even my fiancé died under the third generation's conspiracy. As a last resort, I left Konoha and became a rebel ninja. The purpose of establishing Phoenix Village is not to satisfy one's desire for power, not to take revenge on Konoha, and not to dominate the ninja world. Advertisement. I just hope that everyone will no longer be oppressed. They say ninjas are tools, but what I want to say is that ninjas are also people with flesh and blood and emotions. We are by no means tools to be driven by careerists. From today on, we will unite to protect ourselves, our friends, our companions, and everyone around us. The short but passionate speech ended, and there was thunderous applause. At the end of the ceremony, the daimyo and officials left, and the people also dispersed. Mizuki stood on the high platform, and his eyes were suddenly attracted by the back figures of 2 women in the crowd. A man with long, light yellow hair tied into twin tails, plump figure and walking hockey. Especially the big word, gamble, on the back is particularly conspicuous. Another man with short black hair and a tall figure seemed to be holding something in his arms, following behind the woman with twin tails. Tsunade and Shizune were in the land of birds and visited the ceremony where I became the first-generation Hokage. How interesting. Looking at Tsunade's twin ponytails swaying as he walked, 3 words popped into Mizuki's mind unconsciously. Increase attack speed. Ahem. It's evil, it's evil. By the way, can you drag Tsunade to Phoenix Village? Mizuki thinks it's a bit difficult. After all, Tsunade is the granddaughter of the first Hokage, and her feelings for Konoha are not comparable to those of ordinary people. Although it is difficult, let's try it. Even if it fails, there is nothing to lose. What if it succeeds? Tsunade, don't worry. Now that I have become a Kage, it's time for Naruto and the others to be promoted to Chunin. Relying on the system, his strength improved quickly, but it could be faster. The key is the number of disciples. For every additional disciple, there will be 3 more opportunities for return every month, and the improvement in strength will be much faster. System. If a disciple is promoted to Chunin, how can the quota be increased? The system said, each genin disciple is promoted to Chunin, and the number of apprentices will be +1. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki frowned. Only 1. The system added, each Chunin disciple is promoted to Jonin, and the number of disciples he can accept will be +2. Close black lens bracket. According to this calculation, if Naruto is promoted to Jonin, Mizuki can have 3 more apprenticeships. In this case, it is better to promote Naruto, Sasuke, and Nobita to Jonin, so that there will be 9 more apprenticeships immediately. Mizuki smiled, feeling promising. But at this moment, the system said, in order to train disciples reasonably, the system stipulates that for Genin to be promoted to Chunin, he must pass the Chunin exam. Close black lens bracket. I and percent, and N. Mizuki spits out the fragrance directly. Lousy is already a shadow, why can't Genin be directly promoted to Jonin? What kind of bullshit is this? Open black lens bracket no cheating, close black lens bracket Mizuki. Okay, isn't it just the Chunin exam? I can just hold one. It will be held tomorrow and they will all become Chunin the day after tomorrow. Open black lens bracket no cheating. Close black lens bracket. The purpose of this system is to strengthen the strength of the host, but we do not want the host to become a garbage man who will do anything to achieve his goals. Close black lens bracket. So, host, please cultivate your disciples carefully. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 70. Phoenix Village's overall training plan. The dog system gives no opportunity for opportunism at all. Depend on, cultivating disciples means cultivating disciples. I will train them all to be Kage level and beyond Kage level. Fenghuang Village has just been established, and the complete building is Fengying Tower. The surrounding area is still being expanded, and it is impossible to build a village as big as Konoha in a short time. In the conference room, Mizuki called everyone here. The first general meeting of Phoenix Village, Phoenix Village was first built today, and there are only 9 of us in the entire village. If there is a group of foreign enemies that invade, it will be okay if I am here. If I am not there, you may not be able to protect the village with your strength alone. Although Zabuza is not weak, it is impossible for him to protect the village by himself. Several of them are genin, and they can deal with ordinary ninjas just fine, but it's not that easy to deal with jonin. So, your strength must be improved. Today I am going to teach you a new chakra refining method, which I call the advanced chakra refining method. After learning it, the chakra refining speed will increase 100 times. The chakra capacity will also increase rapidly. Chakra is the basis of ninja combat. The more chakra, the greater the combat effectiveness will be. Mizuki's words surprised everyone. Improved 100 times, how come there is such a chakra refining method? It can't be some forbidden technique, it will cause damage to the body, Zabuza asked. Mizuki smiled. It's true, and there are no side effects. How effective it is, you will know after you try it. In fact, Naruto and Gaara don't care much about the amount of chakra. Jinchuriki, the amount of chakra is so large that it is difficult to use it up. But to others, it matters. Like Sasuke, when he and Naruto first fought in the Valley of the End in the anime, he relied on the curse seal to keep releasing ninjutsu and finally defeated Naruto. Without the curse seal, he wouldn't have dared to use ninjutsu like that. Therefore, Sasuke also needs more chakra. Mizuki teaches the advanced chakra refining method in detail, and most people learn it in one go. After all, they all have a basic foundation. The advanced chakra extraction method only makes certain improvements on the basis of the ordinary chakra extraction method. So everyone can accept it quickly. Only Naruto, an idiot, learned it after learning it 3 times. Naruto's combat intelligence is not low, but his understanding of learning is really poor. Especially written things are torture to him. After learning, everyone refined chakra on the spot. Everyone is glowing with blue light, and the chakra fluctuations are very obvious. Naruto, in particular, seemed to be wearing a blue coat. Sure enough, it has improved 100 times. Thank you, Lord Hokage. Zabuza stood up and thanked him. Naruto shouted, Master Mizuki, you have this chakra refining method, but you didn't teach us earlier. Mizuki smiled and said, it's not too late to learn now. Besides, Naruto, you have a lot of chakra. In fact, it doesn't matter whether you learn it or not. Sasuke scolded. Idiot, how can you teach this secret technique to others casually? We were all ninjas of Konoha before. Teach us, doesn't that old guy from 3rd generation know it? When it came to the 3rd generation, Naruto was silent. In fact, he doesn't hate 3rd generation that much. He didn't have much reaction when he heard that the 3rd generation was killed by Mizuki. There is no pleasure and no unbearability. It's like treating 3rd generation as an unimportant passerby. Advertisement Mizuki said. You should practice quickly, Nobita, Sai and Nobu. The 3 of you have less chakra. In the following days, you should concentrate on refining chakra. Zabuza, I don't know much about you. Based on your understanding of yourself, what do you think can improve your strength? Zabuza thought for a moment and replied. What I am best at is the silent killing technique combined with the decapitation sword. If I can improve my sword skills, my strength will increase immediately. Mizuki nodded and took out a scroll. This is Konoha-style swordsmanship, the dance of the 3 suns and moons. It is the secret swordsmanship of the Moonlight Clan. Although the sword is lighter and lighter, it is completely different from the decapitation sword. But they are all about the use of weapons, so they may have something in common. You may gain something by observing them. Zabuza thanked him and took it. Next is White. Bye, Ice Escape Bloodline Limit, I have nothing to guide you. However, your physical skills are poor. If I take the time, I will teach you a physical skill, which will be enough to make up for your shortcomings in physical skills. Mizuki decided to pass the complete version of Tai Chi returned by the system to Shiro. Sasuke, in the next time, you should hurry up and improve your chakra controllability. Once you reach the standard, I will teach you the transformation. Sasuke nodded. He has wanted to learn to apparate for a long time. Gaara, you have the ability to control sand, and your attack and defense are not bad, but your attack flexibility is not strong. Facing an agile enemy, you will be very passive. Gaara nodded. He thought of how Xiao Li's high-speed movement made him unable to react during the Konoha Chunin exam. Besides, your sand is afraid of water. Sand will sink when it meets water, which will make it more difficult for you to control the sand. This weakness needs to be overcome. In the following time, you can find ways to overcome these 2 weaknesses. I don't know much about sand control, so I won't mention specific suggestions. After saying Gaara, Mizuki looked at Naruto. Well, it's finally my turn. Master Mizuki, please give me some advice. I also want to become stronger. Mizuki smiled and said, let's talk about it in a few days. Naruto immediately became unhappy and asked, why? Everyone has a way forward, but I don't. This is unfair. Mizuki said, the 5 elements seal was planted in your abdomen by Orochimaru, which caused your chakra to be out of control. Even Rasengan requires 2 hands to cast. So even if I teach you how to practice now, it's useless. Naruto said with a grimace, what should we do? Don't worry, I will take the time to learn the 5 elements seal in the past few days, and then help you remove the seal, and then I will guide you in your practice. It'll be quick, it won't take more than a few days. Naruto was still unhappy and said, then I have nothing to do these days? Everyone is practicing, but I have nothing to do, it's very boring. Mizuki smiled. No, I have a task for you. After the meeting, everyone dispersed to find a place to practice, except Naruto who stayed. Master Mizuki, what's the mission? Mizuki asked. Naruto, can you gamble? Naruto immediately said, of course not. I remember the 3 ninja taboos. They were often tested in school before. The first rule is not to squander money. The second rule is not to drink alcohol before the age of 18. The third rule is not to enter a custom shop before the age of 18. Gambling violates Article 1. Mizuki smiled and said, oh, the 3 forbidden ninjas are all just a lie to children. A truly powerful ninja never cares about these things. Naruto's eyes lit up and he asked, really? Advertisement? Of course it's true. Can I still lie to you? Come on, I'll teach you how to gamble. Naruto asked curiously, but what does this have to do with the mission you mentioned? Mizuki. Of course it does matter. This mission requires you to enter the casino and lose money. Losing money? Why? Isn't gambling to win money? Why should we lose money? Naruto doesn't understand. There is no reason. This is a mission. Just do as I say. Next, Mizuki began to teach Naruto how to gamble, and Naruto soon learned it. I have to say that Naruto is quite talented when it comes to gambling. This ring is given to you. There is 1 cubic meter of space inside. I put 10 million taels in it. Your task is to find the casino and lose all 10 million taels within 3 days. Naruto was kicked out of Phoenix Village by Mizuki and headed to the capital of Bird Country. If you ask me to gamble, I can only lose money. What does this mean? Could it be that Master Mizuki really has too much money to use up, so he wants to give money to others in this way? After much deliberation, this is the only explanation that makes the most sense. Mizuki sent Shadow Clone to secretly protect Naruto. The Kingdom of Birds is not a closed country. There are businessmen from all over the world, and there must be many spies from other countries. Mizuki appeared in Bird Country with Naruto Sasuke, and the news should have spread back to Konoha. So, you still have to be careful. With the protection of Shadow Clone, Naruto will be fine. Now, it's time to learn the 5 Elements Seal. I didn't study before because I didn't have enough conditions. The 5 Elements Seal, as the name suggests, has to master the 5 attributes of water, earth, fire, wind, and thunder chakra. Before acquiring the Rinnegan, Mizuki only had 2 attribute chakras, wind and earth. After having Rinnegan, his chakra attributes became 6 types: water, earth, fire, wind, thunder, and yang. The 5 elements are ready and you can learn the 5 Elements Seal. Once you learn the 5 Elements Seal, you will naturally master 5 Elements Unseal. He took out the 5 Elements Seal cultivation scroll and began to study it carefully. Let's talk about Naruto. He came to the capital of Bird Country, found a casino, and lost money like crazy after entering. The gambling world of Bird Country seems to have ushered in spring. 2 fat sheep appeared in the casino, making everyone lose money. Even this news spread to other countries at a rapid speed, and a large number of gamblers came here. Tsunade also heard about the existence of another fat sheep, became curious, and asked Shizune to go out and inquire about it. Soon, Shizune came back with news. That yellow-haired kid from Phoenix Village? Lost 5 million taels in one night? Tsunade's eyes widened. How should I put it? Envious. 5 million taels, enough for me to lose for several days. A kid can be so rich, huh? Tsunade put his chin on his hand and thought. Shizune raised his eyebrows and asked, Tsunade-sama, what do you want to do again? Tsunade said, Shizune, we have no money now. What do you think? I asked that brat to borrow a few million taels? No, absolutely not. Chapter 71. Tsunade wins money. I'm just a child, Tsunade-sama, how can you have the nerve to borrow it? Besides, if he doesn't know you, he definitely won't borrow it. Tsunade nodded and said, yes. Then he added, if that's the case, then I'll bet with him. He loses faster than me, and his luck is obviously worse than mine. I will definitely win money betting with him. Shizune pouted and said, I have bad luck, but you have poor gambling skills. Nonsense. Tsunade slammed the table and said loudly, my gambling skills, inherited from my grandfather, are among the best in the ninja world. Shizune rolled her eyes. Even though he is old, he still wants to be stubborn. The pig lying on the ground turned its head to the other side and let out a piggy sigh. The reason why I haven't grown up is because this old woman lost all her food money. Eating one meal but not the next, or even starving for 9 meals in 3 days, seriously affects growth and development. Let's go to the casino. Shizune couldn't stop him, so he could only follow behind with Dodo in his arms. While walking, persuade Tsunade to be kind. Of course Tsunade would not listen to Shizune. When he arrived at the casino, he saw a gaming table crowded with people. Through the gap, Tsunade saw Naruto at a glance. Naruto was seen standing with one foot on the ground and the other on the table, holding a dice cup in his hand, raising it above his head and shaking it wildly. At the same time, he shouted loudly, if you buy it, leave it, if you buy it, leave it. In this hand, Naruto is the banker and bets on the size of the points. If the total number of 3 dice is less than or equal to 9, it is small. If it is greater than 9 o'clock, it is big. If you guess the right size, the dealer will pay you 1. In addition to guessing the size, you can also guess the specific number. If you guess the number correctly, the dealer will pay you 30. If it is a leopard, such as 3-1 points, 3-2 points, etc., the odds are 100 to 1. This kid is quite good at gambling. Tsunade's interest immediately rose and he wanted to join the crowd to gamble together. As a result, there were too many people, so she didn't squeeze in. She could only stand on the outside and stare. At the gambling table, everyone put their money on guessing the points, and all 3-6 leopards were pressed. Everyone bets 100 taels. This is a public area and gambling capital is limited. You cannot bet too much. Come on, it's about to open, buy it and leave. Naruto placed the dice cup on the table and everyone shouted, open it, open it. Naruto shouted loudly, I have lost 3 times in a row, and I will definitely win this one. After saying this, he picked up the dice cup, and 3 dices appeared in everyone's sight. 3 dice. The numbers are 6, 6, 6, ha ha ha, 3 sixes, really 3 sixes. Win again, it is indeed a fat sheep. Shush, keep your voice down, don't let him hear it, or you won't bet with us. Naruto looked at the 3 sixes and shouted, ah, why is it like this again? I don't accept it. This time, Naruto lost 260,000 taels. It's a shame that he didn't have the upper hand. Otherwise, let alone 10 million taels, even 100 million taels would not be able to afford to lose. Tsunade's eyes were shining at this moment. She couldn't wait any longer and pushed the people in front of her away with her hands. The strength was so great that these ordinary people had no power to resist. She came to the table and firmly occupied a seat. Those who were pushed aside by her wanted to scold them, but when they saw it was Tsunade, they stopped scolding them. This is also a fat sheep, so you can't offend it. The last one is the dealer. I don't believe I can win. Naruto picked up the dice cup again and shook it. If you buy it, leave it. If you buy it, leave it. Everyone started betting again, all 100 taels, and continued to bet all 3 sixes. Tsunade took out the remaining 35 taels of lunch money and followed everyone else, also pressing 3 sixes. Advertisement, bang. The dice cup fell on the table. I will definitely win this one. Open. The dice cup was opened, and only 3 dices were seen. The numbers were 6, 6, 5. Shizune stood behind Tsunade and said, it's over, I'm going to be hungry at noon. Dolphin raised 2 pig trotters, covered his eyes, and shouted, hey, hey. The pigs can't stand it anymore, everyone screamed. How could this happen? With this one, the entire army is wiped out and the dealer takes all. Some people looked at Tsunade and then at Naruto and thought, this female fat sheep is definitely fatter. After all, she loses her first bet, which speaks volumes. Naruto, as the dealer, was also staring at the dice with a value of 5, his eyes flickering slightly. He thought to himself, how could this happen? It should be 6 o'clock, but it shouldn't be. No, you have to pay attention. He hit it well and didn't let anyone see it. Mizuki told him not to let anyone see that he was losing money on purpose. Ha ha ha, I just said that I will definitely win this one, huh, it's all mine, it's all mine. He held all the money in front of himself with both arms, his face full of excitement. Okay, I have been the banker 5 times in a row, now let's change. Everyone said one after another, the new guy is the banker, the new guy is the banker. Then all eyes turned to Tsunade. Shizune pulled Tsunade to leave, and at the same time said loudly, we have no money, and we don't want to be the banker. Tsunade refused to leave and shouted, where is the boss? Call the boss here. The casino owner came quickly and asked, Fat, well, sir, what are your orders? Tsunade said, borrow money, 1 million taels. Tsunade-sama. Shizune was about to explode. But Tsunade went her own way and ignored her at all. Shizune also knew that she couldn't stop her and could only be messed up in the wind. The casino owner didn't want to borrow it. Well, sir, you have borrowed 3 million taels in total before, and you haven't paid it back yet. I'm doing a small business here and I don't have any extra money to lend you. The name of Fat Sheep is well known in the ninja world. Moreover, Feiyong has a very good reputation. Although he borrows money, he never defaults on the debt. Even if it takes a long time, he will pay back every penny. But this casino owner really doesn't have that much spare money. Tsunade frowned and said, it's not like I won't pay you back. When I win the money, I'll pay it back to you with interest. At this time Naruto said, sister, if you are short of money, I can lend it to you, I have money. Mizuki once said that if you meet a big-breasted sister to borrow money, don't hesitate to lend it to her. She borrowed as much as she wanted, but when she didn't have enough, she went back to Fenghuang village to get it. Tsunade asked, how much interest do you want, Naruto? I don't want interest. I will pay you back as much as you borrow. Tsunade narrowed his eyes and said, you offered to lend me money without asking for interest. What is your purpose? Tsunade had a vague feeling that there was some conspiracy. It has been 25 years since I left Konoha. Mizuki was at most 2 years old at that time and should have no memory of me. In other words, none of the people in Phoenix Village know me. Although Tsunade was confused, he couldn't figure it out for a while. Naruto said, you only have 35 taels left, but you still come to gamble. You even borrowed millions and lost them all. It shows that you, like me, are a very gambling person. It is a very noble virtue for a person to concentrate on one thing, even regardless of everything else. So, I'm more than happy to lend you money. Shizune opened her mouth wide and was going crazy. I lost all my money and racked up a lot of debt just because of gambling. Is this called focusing on one thing? Is this called noble moral character? Tsunade nodded repeatedly, deeply convinced. Advertisement. I never expected that a brat like you could actually say such profound words. In that case, bring me 1,000,000 taels. Don't worry, I have never been in the habit of not paying back any money I owe. If you lend me the money, I will pay you back exactly what you owe me. Tsunade got the money and started to be the banker. Likewise, roll the dice. Buy and leave. The gamblers around were extremely happy that another fat sheep was taking over. Just like when Naruto was on the bank, they put all their money on 3 sixes, a total of 26 people. Only Naruto was different, he pressed 3 to 1. Open. The dice cup is opened, and there are 3 dices with numbers 1, 2, and 3 respectively. Shizune stood behind Tsunade, eyes wide open, looking at the 3 dice in disbelief, thinking he was hallucinating. According to past experience, shouldn't the numbers of 3 dice be 6, 6, 6? Ha ha ha, I win, take it all. While she was collecting the money, she nudged Shizune with her elbow. At the same time, she turned her head and whispered, how about it? I was right. That kid is definitely less lucky than me, he's just a fat sheep. With him here, I will definitely win today. Shizune curled his lips and whispered. Tisk, this is the first one. If you lose later, don't say it's bad luck. This time, Tsunade 2701 Ryo. Come again. Everyone did not believe in evil and continued to press 3 sixes, and Naruto also continued to press 3 ones. This time, Tsunade rolled 3 threes. Ha ha ha, it's all inclusive again, come on, all your money is mine. This Tsunade won another 2700 Ryo, she was so happy. In the next few banker hands, no matter how hard everyone pressed, Tsunade would take them all. At the end of 5 hands, Tsunade 13,501 taels. Shizune even thought she was dreaming. Tsunade-sama, you can actually win money. Next, it was someone else's turn to be the banker, and Tsunade won even more. Whatever she presses, the dice will come out. If she presses big, it will be big. If she presses small, it will be small. If she presses 3, it will come out 3. The gamblers around him also widened their eyes and felt incredible. However, this does not prevent them from making money. They will follow whatever Tsunade presses. The result is that anyone who takes the banker position will soon lose everything. They are not as wealthy as Naruto and cannot afford to lose. Some people began to question that there was something wrong with the dice, but the casino was not used to it. When you win, you happily take the money. When you lose, you say there is something wrong with the dice. You're the smart one, right? It has reached this level, even if there is a problem, you have to be willing to accept it. As a result, people who won money were afraid of losing money when it was their turn to be the banker, so they all made excuses to leave. But the casino has regulations. Anyone who wins money at this table is not allowed to leave without sitting in the banker. This is the default rule for all gamblers. As a result, these gamblers began to spit out the money they won. But after they took the throne, they were reluctant to leave and continued to press with Tsunade. They are already betting red. Even if the sensible person leaves, someone else will step up to fill the gap. As a result, everyone wins and loses, but Tsunade wins. The money in the hands of these gamblers becomes less and less, and gradually it all goes to Tsunade. By dinner time, Tsunade had won more than 4 million Ryo. After paying back Naruto's 1,000,000 taels and the casino owner's 3,000,000 taels, there was still more than 1,000,000 taels left. Shizune's hands holding Dodo were shaking. It's coming, it's coming. Dodo, I can finally buy you more delicious pig feed. Hey. Chapter 72. 2SS-level. In the end, Naruto lost all his money. I felt that there were piles of banknotes in front of me, more than 3,000,000 taels. She smiled from ear to ear. Seeing Naruto getting up to leave, Tsunade said hurriedly, don't leave, kid. I'll lend you money if you don't have any money. Naruto shook his head and said, no, I'll go home and get the money and come back tomorrow. When Naruto left, Tsunade was the only one left at the table. The former fat sheep has now become a tiger, and no one dares to bet with her. So, she went to another table, but when everyone saw it was Tsunade, they immediately stopped and changed tables. Tsunade-sama, just give it up if you want, no one dares to bet with us anymore. Tsunade said, it's a rare win, and I'm not even happy about it. Come on, let's find another casino. Shizune said with a helpless look on his face. Let's go eat first. I haven't eaten lunch. It's dinner time now, and the pigs are so hungry that their stomachs are growling. Hey, Tsunade said. No, after dinner, the news here will spread, and people from other casinos will not dare to gamble with me. Tsunade strode away towards other casinos. Everyone looked at her back and didn't dare to call her fat sheep. No one noticed that there was a slight bang sound in the dice cup. When someone else came to the table to open the banker, they discovered that one of the 3 dice was missing. Tsunade came to another casino and prepared to kill everyone. The result was that she kept losing, regardless of whether she was on the bank or not, she lost every time. He had more than 3 million Ryo, but soon lost 2 million Ryo, and finally had 1 million Ryo left, but Shizune refused to give it to Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, you can't win without that yellow-haired kid here. He made your luck extremely good. Once he left, you were knocked back to your original shape. So keep the rest of the money for gambling tomorrow when he comes. Tsunade was very unconvinced, but Shizune's words made sense, so he stopped for now. The next day, Naruto came again, bringing more money. Tsunade also came, and the gambling game started again. The news that Tsunade lost miserably last night also spread, so now everyone dared to bet with her again. Then, a similar situation occurred. Tsunade kills everyone and wins money in various ways. When Naruto lost all his money and left, Tsunade started losing money again. Then the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day. Every day, the same plot plays out. On the sixth day, Naruto didn't come. Shizune is anxious. Tsunade-sama, Uzumaki Naruto is not here today. Let's take a day off. Hey, as long as Naruto is not around, Tsunade will only lose money gambling. After finally saving some money, Shizune and Dodo both wanted to keep it. Tsunade said, "What does this mean? Others know about it and think that Naruto is not here, so I don't dare to go to the gambling table. Besides, gambling is not about winning money, but about interest. Do you understand interest? Whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter to me." So Tsunade secretly drugged Shizune and Dodo while they were eating at noon, knocking them out. Then he took the money hidden under the bed and went to the casino to give it away alone. When Shizune wakes up, he immediately heads to the casino, but it's too late. Tsunade has lost all his money and still owes the casino 1,000,000 taels. In Phoenix Village, Mizuki is released. He has learned the 5 elements seal and can unlock it for Naruto. In addition, a new month has arrived, and a new round of grant returns can begin. Advertisement: lift up your shirt and expose your belly. I will unseal it for you now. Naruto did as he was told, revealing the 5 elements sealing technique on his belly. Mizuki stretched out his right hand, opened his 5 fingers, and chakra with 5 attributes appeared on his fingers, forming the 5 characters of water, earth, fire, wind, and thunder. 5 elements unseal. Solution: 5 fingers were clasped on Naruto's abdomen. Naruto screamed and fell to the ground, but the 5 elements seal on his abdomen was successfully released. "Master Mizuki, I feel it. Chakra has become easy to control again," Naruto said happily. Mizuki said, "Try it and release the Rasengan with one hand." Naruto nodded and raised his right hand to release the chakra. The next moment, Rasengan takes shape. Haha, it worked. Mizuki added, "Try if you can throw the Rasengan." Naruto threw the Rasengan out, but it exploded before it flew 10 meters away. "No." Naruto scratched his head. "Master, why can your Rasengan be thrown, but mine and Sasuke's can't? They're both Rasengan, what's the difference?" Mizuki said, "My Rasengan has a more stable structure. It is the most stable structure I have found after countless attempts. If you want to be like me, you need to try more and change the subtle results inside Rasengan to make it more and more stable. This process is very boring, you can only rely on yourself." Naruto looked determined. "I can definitely do it. By the way, Master, now that I have restored chakra control, can I proceed to the next step of training like Sasuke and the others?" Mizuki nodded and said, "Your father, Namikaze Minato, was famous for his technique during his lifetime. In addition to Rasengan, he also had another technique called Flying Thunder God Technique. The Flying Thunder God Technique is a time and space ninjutsu, similar to my apparition, but it consumes less energy than apparition. Do you want to learn?" Although Mizuki can apparate, the chakra consumption is too high. Unlike Flying Thunder God, it doesn't cost much. Moreover, Mizuki wants to know that Flying Thunder God is already S-level. What will he get after returning the system? Naruto nodded repeatedly and said, "I want to learn. Master, hurry up and teach me this flying technique." "It's the Flying Thunder God Technique," Mizuki prompted. Flying Thunder God Technique, invented by second Hokage Senju Tobirama, is an S-class forbidden technique. During the Third Ninja War, your father, Namikaze Minato, used this technique to gain the title of Yellow Flash. He fought alone against the 4th Raikage and 8 Tails Jinchuriki without losing. Rock Shinobi Village even has a saying that if you encounter a Yellow Flash, you can give up the mission without being punished. Naruto listened, his eyes filled with admiration. He has admired the 4th Hokage since he was a child, and his admiration grew even more when he learned that the 4th generation was his father. Moreover, my heart is filled with a sense of glory. Mizuki took out a scroll and handed it to Naruto. "Let me tell you in advance, I don't know the Flying Thunder God Technique, so if you want to learn it, you can only rely on yourself. In addition, this technique is difficult and involves space. You must be careful when practicing and never be careless." Naruto nodded. "I will be careful, and I am confident that my father can learn it, and I believe I can learn it too." Naruto took the scroll and went to practice. Mizuki also waited for the return prompt from the system. Open black lens bracket ding. Close black lens bracket. Host granted disciple Uzumaki Naruto S-level ninjutsu Flying Thunder God Technique training method, triggering 3037 times return. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host, you have obtained SS-level ninjutsu and become Invincible Flying Thunder God. Close black lens bracket. Invincible Flying Thunder God, within 0.5 seconds after you use Flying Thunder God, you will be invincible. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki's mouth formed an O shape advertisement. "I lost it. 0.5 seconds of invincibility. Good guy, As long as you keep using Flying Thunder God, won't you always be invincible? You know, Flying Thunder God has no cooldown time. In this way, wouldn't God kill God if he stands in the way, or kill Buddha if Buddha stands in the way? The level is only SS level, and it has not yet reached SSS level. This means that this technique has more advanced forms. Thinking about it, Flying Thunder God cannot be used at will, it must have a spell. Either throw a special kunai or plant a spell on the enemy. All in all, there are limitations. This is probably the reason why the rating is SS. If you reach the SSS level, you probably don't need any magic spells. You can fly wherever you want. Only then will you be truly invincible. Unfortunately, what is returned is the cultivation method. If you want to learn it, you have to spend time and energy. Naruto has a good start here. Next is Sasuke. Mizuki found Sasuke again. At this time, Sasuke is practicing chakra control. I saw blue chakra released from his hand, and this chakra turned into the shape of a cat under his control. He controls the cat to walk, jump, and bite its ears. The so-called chakra control ability is to make chakra listen to yourself. Whatever you want chakra to do, it has to do that. The release of ninjutsu requires sealing. The purpose of forming seals is to guide chakra to flow through specific tendons. After passing through these tendons, chakra will change. For example, turn into fire, turn into water, turn into earth, etc. As chakra control becomes stronger, it can be simplified, one-handed, or even unnecessary. Mizuki told Sasuke that in order to learn to apparate, one must perform the one-handed seal. Sasuke worked very hard for this. Sasuke, stop for a moment. I'll teach you a new ninjutsu today. Mizuki spoke concisely and took out a scroll. This technique, called Impure World Reincarnation, is an S-class forbidden technique invented by second Hokage Senju Tobirama. Its essence is summoning technique. Summoning the souls in the pure land to the filthy land of the human world, resurrecting them in physical form and being controlled by you. Sasuke looked at the scroll and frowned. Mizuki explained, I teach you this technique just for revenge. Your enemy, 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, and the root leader Shimura Danzo were both killed by me. Your hatred has nowhere to vent, and it has been stored in your heart for a long time, which is not good. After learning Impure World Reincarnation, you can reincarnate the 3rd Hokage and Shimura Danzo, and then torture them to get revenge. Sasuke's frown immediately relaxed and he reached out to take the scroll. Thanks. Open black lens bracket ding. Close black lens bracket. Host granted disciple Uchiha Sasuke S-level summoning forbidden technique Impure World Reincarnation practice method, triggering 6,944 times the return. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host, you have obtained the SS level forbidden technique, the Dirty Earth Body Cultivation Technique. Close black lens bracket. Pure Land Body. Summoning the soul in the Pure Land to the caster. The caster will obtain all the abilities and chakra of the soul during his lifetime. Close black lens bracket. Note. This technique is a forbidden technique, which is more dangerous. If summoning too many souls, or a soul that is too powerful, there is a risk of being taken away. Close black lens bracket. Good guy, isn't this just asking the patriarch to get on top of me? I got another SS level forbidden technique, and I have to say that the scroll collection room in Konoha was not in vain. Finally, it's Nobita's turn. Nobita's basic skills are poor and he has not even mastered the simple 3-body technique, so Mizuki did not send any high-end products. Just gave me a bowl of instant ramen. Open black lens bracket ding. Close black lens bracket. Host granted disciple Nobita a bowl of instant ramen, triggering a 61x return. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host, you received 61 bowls of delicious instant ramen. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki. F*K. Chapter 73. Tsunade's conditions. Each of the 3 disciples used one to grant the refund, and there were 2 left. Mizuki was in no rush to run out. No matter how good or powerful the returned things are, it will take time to digest them. The village's basic public buildings are almost completed. It's time for Naruto and the others to be promoted to Chunin and increase the number of apprentices in the system. The system does not allow cheating. To become a Chunin, you must pass the Chunin exam. Now there are 2 choices before Mizuki. One is to organize the Chunin exam by himself, and the other is to take the Chunin exam in another country. It's easiest to organize it yourself. Just refer to Konoha for the test content. The first theoretical test, the second single-player scroll battle, and the third arena final. There are few people in the village, so there is no need to form a team. At this moment, the system spoke again. To organize the Chunin exam, 2 or more ninja villages must be invited to participate for a joint exam, and the finals must be conducted in public, so that it complies with the regulations. Close black lens bracket. Gift crab. Mizuki exploded. What the hell is going on with the dog system? You said that Naruto and the others cannot be directly appointed as Chunin, and that Chunin needs to be started. Okay, I admit it, and I will organize the Chunin exam. Now you tell me that to organize the Chunin exam, you have to invite other ninja villages to participate and conduct a joint exam. I'll contact your mother. It's just a Chunin exam, why does it have to be so troublesome? The Chunin exam is a time to demonstrate national strength. It allows other ninja villages to realize the strength of Phoenix Village, which is more conducive to the development of the village. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki couldn't help but roll his eyes. There are a total of 9 big cats and kittens in Fenghuang village, demonstrating the national power of the ghost. When other people come to see it, they feel shabby. Phoenix Village was first built and needed to build a reputation to help attract more talents to join Phoenix Village. Close black lens bracket. Therefore, it is necessary to hold joint examinations. Close black lens bracket. Too much trouble. Originally, it was already a lot of trouble to prepare the exam content in the exam venue, and it was even more troublesome to invite other ninja villages to participate. It is better to use this time on cultivation. I'd better check if any other ninja villages hold exams. Since it's so troublesome to hold it yourself, you can only take the Chunin exam held by other ninja villages. Mizuki found the daimyo of Tori no Kuni and asked when other countries would hold Chunin exams. Especially in the Great Ninja Village, when the Chunin exam is held, the daimyo of each country will be notified and invited to watch the competition. The bird country is a small country that has nothing to contend with. It has no conflicts with anyone and is willing to invite all big countries. Mizuki-sama, the Chunin exam is usually held by major countries in March and October every year. The Chunin exam in October this year has ended, and the next one will have to wait until March next year. Mizuki frowned. It's early December, and there are still nearly 4 months until next March. We have to wait 4 months. Mizuki was unhappy, returned to Phoenix Village, and asked the system again. Besides taking the Chunin exam, is there no other way for them to become Chunin? The system replied. Yes. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki immediately asked. What can I do? The Chunin exam is a way to judge whether a genin is qualified to become a Chunin during peacetime. Close black lens bracket. During the war, genin was promoted to Chunin, which was less troublesome. Close black lens bracket. Advertisement. After completing enough tasks to prove that a certain genin has the strength of a Chunin, you can directly appoint him as a Chunin. Close black lens bracket. During the war, Mizuki was speechless. Yes, you can start a war, so you don't need to take the Chunin exam. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki. Forget it, I'd better wait 4 months. Mizuki gave up. This system is simply insane. In these 4 months, we will continue to improve our strength and strengthen Phoenix Village. The newly acquired 3rd Gate SS-level Ninjutsu, Heavenly Resentment U, Invincible Flying Thunder God, and Earthly Body, are all powerful techniques, and of course they're very difficult to practice. It's impossible to practice them all in one go, you can only do them one by one. Cultivation of Heavenly Resentment in U first. After the Heavenly Resentment U is completed, the body can be liquefied, and can invade other living things to steal vitality. There is no limit to the amount of vitality that can be taken. The vitality can restore all injuries, and will not age or die before it is exhausted. After completing the technique, you can steal the life force of other creatures. As long as the life force is enough, you can perform the Rinne Tensai technique without causing your own death. You can resurrect Shun, and you can also make Neji defect to Konoha, and then resurrect him after he is killed by Caged Bird. Tien-Yu is definitely the first choice at the moment. Mizuki began to practice asceticism. Everyone in Phoenix Village has entered a state of cultivation. In the capital of Bird Country, an uninvited guest came, Jiraiya, one of the Sannin of Konoha. In the tavern, Jiraiya met Tsunade, who was drinking. Jiraiya. Why are you here? Tsunade was half drunk. When he saw Jiraiya, he thought he had seen it wrong. Jiraiya looked at Tsunade, whose appearance had not changed, curled his lips and said, Hey, you are so old, are you still pretending to be young? Tsunade was not angry and said, You came all the way to find me just to ridicule me? Jiraiya sat across from Tsunade, poured himself a glass of wine, drank it all, and then refilled it. The old man is dead. Tsunade was silent for a moment and said, Just die, everyone will die, there is nothing strange about it. Jiraiya asked, Aren't you curious about how he died? Tsunade said calmly, How else can you die? Most likely it is your own fault. Jiraiya. You are such an accurate judge of people. Now it was Jiraiya's turn to be silent. After drinking several drinks, Jiraiya spoke again. He was killed by the traitorous ninja Mizuki, the first generation Hokage of the newly established Phoenix Ninja Village. Also died together with Orochimaru and the 4th Kazekage. Hearing that Orochimaru was also dead, Tsunade's hand holding the wineglass paused. It turns out he's a rebellious ninja from Konoha. No wonder that kid's surname is Uzumaki. Jiraiya. The kid with the surname Uzumaki you are talking about should be Uzumaki Naruto. He is the son of Minato and Kushina, and he is also the Nine Tails Jinchuriki of this term. Tsunade said, His identity has nothing to do with me. Even though he said this, Tsunade squeezed the wineglass with more force. The poor cup was almost crushed. Deep down, Tsunade still cares about Naruto. Every time Naruto is present, he can win by gambling, which leads Tsunade to be very interested in Naruto. Tsunade feels that a kid who can affect his luck must be special to him. In the past, Tsunade would stay in each place for at most 3 days. But because of Naruto, she stayed in the bird country for more than 10 days this time. Advertisement. Before Nawaki died, my luck was not bad. After Nawaki's death, my luck was extremely bad. Later I met Duan, my luck got better again, but after Duan's death, my luck got worse again. And now, another person appears who makes my luck better. Tsunade was a little looking forward to it, but also a little scared. He wanted to have more contact with Naruto because he saw the shadow of Nawaki and Dan in Naruto. But he was also afraid that because of him, Naruto would follow in the footsteps of Nawaki and Dan. She always felt that she was the one who killed Nawaki and Dan. Jiraiya is an idiot and can't see what Tsunade is thinking. He didn't come to Tsunade to drink and reminisce. There is no suitable Hokage candidate in the village. The advisors and heads of the major families agree that you are the most suitable person to serve as the 5th Hokage. Tsunade sneered. Why don't you do it right? Jiraiya said awkwardly. I'm not that material. Tsunade. If you don't deserve it, why should you let me? 5th Hokage. Whoever wants to be the one should be the one, but don't look for me anyway. Jiraiya advised. After all, Konoha village was founded by your 2 grandfathers, and the entire village is their hard work. Can you bear to watch the village gradually decline due to the lack of Hokage? If a suitable 5th Hokage is not selected, other countries will seize this opportunity and start a war. Tsunade said, it's none of my business, Jiraiya. The old man is dead, and so is Danzo. There is no soil for darkness to breed in the village. If you take office as 5th Hokage, Konoha will definitely return to the 1st generation and 2nd generation period. Tsunade placed the wine glass heavily on the table and said loudly, I told you, I'm not interested. Jiraiya was not annoyed and said, hey, forget it if you're not interested. Come on, let's drink. For 3 days in a row, Jiraiya drank with Tsunade every night, and persuaded Tsunade to return to Konoha to succeed the Hokage. Tsunade got tired of being talked about, so he made a condition. As long as you can get Uzumaki Naruto back to Konoha, I promise to go back and be the 5th Hokage. Jiraiya said with a grimace, this is very difficult. That Mizuki was super strong. When the old man, Orochimaru, and 4th Kazekage teamed up, they couldn't beat him. In the end, they were all killed by him. If you ask me to go to Phoenix Village and snatch Naruto away, isn't that asking me to die? Tsunade. I don't care. Anyway, this is the condition. If you can do it, I will return to Konoha. If you can't do it, find someone else as soon as possible. Jiraiya is troubled. Nowadays, of all the ninjas in Konoha, Tsunade is the most suitable to be the 5th Hokage. Okay, let me go and give it a try. Forced to have no choice but to come to Phoenix Village, Jiraiya wanted to see Mizuki. When he arrived at Phoenix Village, Jiraiya's expression changed. This village has such a rich natural energy. Although it is not as good as Mount Myoboku, it is not far behind. The closer to the Hokage building, the richer the natural energy became. When Jiraiya arrived at the downstairs of the Hokage building, he felt that the concentration of natural energy around him was no worse than Mount Myoboku. Moreover, the surrounding natural energy is converging towards this building. Is it because of this building? Jiraiya looked at the Kazekage building, wanting to see what was special about this building, but looking left and right, he couldn't see anything. I just think that this Fungying building has a strange shape. On the top floor of the Hoi building, Mizuki, who was practicing Tenuu, suddenly opened his eyes. The next moment, he appeared in front of Jiraiya. Jiraiya, what are you doing here? Could it be that you want to join Phoenix Village? Jiraiya smiled and said, no, I have no interest in joining your village. I came here to discuss with you whether it is possible to let Naruto return to Konoha. As long as you agree, I am willing to introduce you to Mount Myoboku and help you practice celestial magic. Chapter 74. Genius, Flying Thunder God Technique. Immortal magic is a magic technique activated in Sage mode. The ninja's chakra is formed by combining physical energy and spiritual energy in a ratio of 1:1. The magic chakra is based on ordinary chakra mixed with natural energy. The 3 energies must reach a balance of 1:1. If there is less natural energy, you cannot enter Sage mode. With more natural energy, the body will become naturalized. For example, in the Senjutsu of Mount Myoboku, if there is too much natural energy, the body will turn into a frog or even become petrified. Once in Sage mode, the sorcerer's strength and speed are greatly enhanced. For example, Naruto in Sage mode can easily throw 9 tails away. In addition, the power of physical arts, illusions, and ninjutsu performed in Sage mode will be increased several times or even dozens of times. The Senjutsu of the Mount Myoboku Toad Clan is indeed very powerful, but I'm not interested. The magic of the Toad Clan is indeed powerful, but for Mizuki, that's it. Besides, Mizuki, who has watched the anime, knows all about the training methods of Mount Myoboku Senjutsu. The only thing missing is toad oil. But it doesn't matter. He only needs to organize the Immortal Skills training method into a scroll and give it to his disciples, and the system will return a more advanced one. Mizuki looked like he didn't care, which made it difficult for Jiraiya. But he didn't want to give up just like that. Do you know why the first Hokage is called the God of Ninja? Besides wood-style bloodline, the main reason is Senjutsu. The reason Uchiha Madara lost to first Hokage was because he couldn't beat Senjutsu. There is also Sage of 6 Paths, the founder of ninjas. He is called Sage because of his Senjutsu. With Rinnegan, if you learn magic, you might be able to become the second Sage of 6 Paths. Jiraiya's words are very tempting. Unfortunately, Mizuki is not short-sighted. Don't waste your efforts. Naruto will not return to Konoha. He is my disciple, and I will not watch him return to that cold village full of cold eyes. Jiraiya immediately said, The third generation is dead, and Danzo is also dead. As long as Naruto returns, I will reveal his identity as the son of the fourth generation to the public as soon as possible. Then the villagers will no longer hate him, but will respect and love him, and when he comes of age, I will support him as Hokage. Mizuki shook his head. Jiraiya is a good man, and if he can make such a promise, he will definitely fulfill it. However, Mizuki still wouldn't agree. If Naruto goes back, he will suffer a great loss. The only reason you want Naruto to return to Konoha is for Nine Tails. If Nine Tails is returned to Konoha, it's not impossible. In this way, after a while, I will extract Nine Tails from Naruto's body and return it to Konoha. After learning the heavenly resentment you, pull out the Nine Tails from Naruto's body. After Naruto died, he resurrected him using the Rinne Tensei technique. The extracted 9 tails were sent to Shaoli, triggering the return of the system. Maybe I can return a 10 tails. No, please don't, I'm not here for 9 tails. Jiraiya's expression changed drastically. Good guy, if 9 tails is really drawn, Naruto will be dead. No matter what, Naruto is Minato's son and must not die like this. Mizuki said. I know that Jinchuriki will die after being separated from the tailed beast, but don't worry, I can revive Naruto with the help of the Rinnegan. Naruto doesn't have to go back to Konoha. 9 tails will return to Konoha. Then everyone will be happy. Advertisement. Jiraiya glanced at Mizuki's right eye and said, Resurrection of the dead? The Rinnegan is really powerful. But goodbye, I want Naruto to return to Konoha, not for 9 tails. Actually, I'd rather you keep 9 tails and I take Naruto. Ever since Orochimaru defected to Konoha, Jiraiya has been pursuing Orochimaru's traces. Orochimaru joined the Akatsuki organization and then defected. Jiraiya knew this. He also found out that the Akatsuki organization wanted to capture the tailed beast. Bringing 9 tails back to Konoha will attract the Akatsuki organization. Konoha couldn't bear the trouble. That's why he said that by leaving the tailed beasts in Phoenix Village, he felt that with Mizuki's strength, he could better protect 9 tails. Anyway, just don't let Konoha get hurt. If not for 9 tails, then what is it for? Mizuki asked curiously. Just as Jiraiya was about to explain, a kunai flew from a distance, aiming directly at Jiraiya. With his eyes narrowed, Jiraiya flashed away in an instant, and the kunai lost its target and was nailed to the ground. Which kid attacked me secretly? This kind of garbage throwing technique even wants to hurt me. It's so disrespectful. Jiraiya turned around and cursed. Mizuki glanced at the kunai on the ground and said, Huh. The next moment, the kunai was nowhere to be found, and Naruto suddenly appeared, squatting handsomely, and picked up the kunai on the ground. This is water. Minato? Jiraiya's eyes widened, as if he had seen a ghost. To Jiraiya, this familiar figure looked too much like Namikaze Minato when he was a boy. Mizuki was pleasantly surprised. At this time, Naruto, Rasengan and Flying Thunder God have all mastered it, completely becoming a replica of Minato. If his combat experience keeps up, Naruto's strength will be as good as Minato's. Enough to kill Jonin instantly. You've learned it in just a few days? Although he knew Naruto was a genius, Mizuki still found it unbelievable. Naruto said with a proud face, Hey, I'm a genius, just Flying Thunder God technique, it's nothing. In fact, the reason why Naruto learned so quickly was entirely due to multiple shadow clone techniques. Mizuki accidentally mentioned that Naruto always kept it in mind. In the past few days, he was practicing the Flying Thunder God technique and used multiple shadow clone. 1,000 shadow clone, the learning speed reaches 1,000 times, that's why I can learn Flying Thunder God so quickly. At this time, Jiraiya's face was full of shock. You really learned the Flying Thunder God technique? Naruto turned to look at Jiraiya and said, I heard everything you just said. It's absolutely impossible for me to go back to Konoha. Besides, I hate the ninjas of Konoha. Please leave as soon as possible, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. Mizuki patted Naruto on the shoulder and smiled. Don't be like this, not all Konoha shinobi are as annoying as third generation. This is Jiraiya, your father Namikaze Minato's teacher, a good man. Among the Hokage, Jiraiya is one of the people Mizuki admires. The hero Jiraiya deserves his kindness. Advertisement. When Naruto heard that he was his father's teacher, the hostility in Naruto's eyes faded. At this time, Jiraiya was still surprised that Naruto could learn Flying Thunder God. Only those with strong chakra control can learn Flying Thunder God. Only those who are extremely careful can develop chakra control ability to a very high level. Isn't this guy's character as carefree as Kushina's? There were so many things going on some time ago that Jiraiya didn't have time to learn more about Naruto in detail. No one told him that Naruto's chakra control ability reached the level where he could directly release ninjutsu without using any seals. He only knew from Sakura's childhood that Naruto was careless, not attentive at all, and a fool. So, he couldn't believe it when he saw Naruto learn Flying Thunder God. Uncle Jiraiya, although you are my father's teacher, if you want me to return to Konoha, I will not agree. Perhaps, if you had appeared earlier, I would not have left Konoha, but now that I have left, I will not go back. Jiraiya looked at Naruto and sighed. Naruto, I'm sorry. I have neglected you these years. After saying that, Jiraiya turned and left. He had seen the determination in Naruto's eyes and knew that no matter what he said, Naruto would never return to Konoha. He can only give up. With Tsunade, he could only think of other options. Tien Country, Sound Ninja Village. Yakushi Kabuto sat in the laboratory with a blank look on his face. Kimimaro is lying on the hospital bed. His illness is incurable and his body has reached its limit. The instrument next to him was monitoring his body. At this time, the heart rate monitor showed that his heart rate was decreasing rapidly. Until it completely loses its beat. Dee. The alarm sounded. Kabuto came back to his senses, looked at Kimimaro who was completely lifeless on the hospital bed, and sighed. Orochimaru-sama is gone, and now you are gone too. Where should I go? He turned around and walked outside. He didn't know what he should do or where he should go. Just as he opened the door and was about to walk out, a familiar chakra fluctuation suddenly came from behind him. Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto turned around quickly and saw chakra surging at the location of the curse mark on Kimimaro's neck. The next moment, a white object emerged from it. It's a snakehead, a big white snakehead. Immediately afterwards, snakeheads emerged one after another, 8 snakeheads in total. Yama technique, it's Orochimaru-sama's Yama technique. The Yamada no Orochi emerged from the cursed seal and almost filled the empty laboratory. One of the snakeheads opened its mouth, and Orochimaru came out slimy. Lord Orochimaru, you're not dead, that's great. Chapter 75, The Real Savior. Uncle Snake emerged from the snake's mouth, covered in mucus. Disgusting. He stood on the ground, breathing in the fresh air. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, with an evil smile on his face. The feeling of being alive is so fascinating. Orochimaru was resurrected, and Yakushi Kabuto's dead heart became bright again. The confusion on his face was wiped away. Once upon a time, Yakushi was his light and the proof that he was alive in the world. But when Yakushi died, he lost himself and became at a loss, not knowing why he was living in this world. Later Orochimaru found him and he found himself again. Orochimaru became the new light that illuminated his life. But during the Chunin exam, Orochimaru died, and Yakushi Kabuto lost his sight again. Life has lost its meaning again, but now, Orochimaru is resurrected. Kabuto's world immediately became brighter. Kabuto, thank you for your hard work. Orochimaru's voice was as hoarse as before. Lord Orochimaru, I thought you. Kabuto once thought that Orochimaru was completely dead. Orochi smiled and said, I pursue eternal life and will not die easily. Is it a cursed seal? Kabuto asked. Orochimaru nodded, but didn't explain much. Everyone who possesses the cursed seal is a prepared vessel for Orochimaru. Even if Orochimaru is killed, he will not die completely. His will is contained in the curse seal, and he can be resurrected when he finds the opportunity. No, as soon as Kimimaro died, Orochimaru immediately found the opportunity and resurrected from the curse seal. No one knows how many people Orochimaru has planted a curse seal on. Even Yakushi Kabuto doesn't know. The Yamada no Orochi dispersed, and Orochimaru turned to look at Kimimaro who was losing his life on the hospital bed. Life is so fragile, it's alive one moment, but dead the next. Orochimaru's pursuit of eternal life became even more determined. Kabuto said, Lord Orochimaru, why not use impure world reincarnation to resurrect Kimimaro? That can be considered a different kind of immortality. Orochimaru shook his head. Eternal life without flesh and blood means nothing. Bury Kimimaro. In addition, you will be in charge of the Sound Ninja Village from now on. I will return to Konoha and succeed the 5th Hokage. Yakushi Kabuto frowned. He didn't understand. Didn't you say you wanted to destroy Konoha? Why would you go back and inherit the position of Hokage? Little did he know that Orochimaru's will had been changed by the distinguished heavenly gods. Are you confused? Orochimaru asked with a smile. Kabuto nodded. Orochimaru explained. Actually, my defection to Konoha was just a show with the old man from the 3rd generation. Acting? Yakushi Kabuto became increasingly confused. Orochimaru nodded. Good. A long time ago, the old man noticed the Akatsuki organization and knew that the leader of the Akatsuki organization owned Rinnegan. Advertisement. In order to find out the details of the Akatsuki organization, we made a defection plan. After I defected to Konoha, I successfully joined the Akatsuki organization and went undercover to investigate the intelligence of the Akatsuki organization. Later, the leader of the Akatsuki organization, Pain, noticed my undercover behavior, and I had to leave the Akatsuki organization. After leaving Akatsuki, I was supposed to return to Konoha, but the old man asked me to establish the Sound Ninja Village. He openly opposed Konoha, but in fact he wanted to unite Konoha secretly. Yakushi Kabuto's eyes widened, stunned. 3rd Hokage, is the road so wild? What about the plan for Konoha's collapse this time? Yakushi Kabuto swallowed. Orochimaru nodded and said, in recent years, Sand Shinobi Village has developed rapidly, so the old man and I discussed using the Chunin exam to suppress Sand Shinobi Village. The Konoha collapse plan was originally designed to kill the 4th Kazekage. Then Mizuki showed up and we had another target. I didn't expect that Mizuki was so strong. He forced 4th Kazekage to join forces with us, but we still couldn't beat him. Orochimaru's explanation is very reasonable. It has to be said that distinguished heavenly gods is so powerful that Orochimaru's will and thinking are completely changed. Completely brainwashed. The reasons he said seemed to be true. But Yakushi Kabuto always felt something was wrong. The contrast between before and after was too great. Mizuki told me that Uchiha Itachi joined the Akatsuki organization to work as an undercover agent. A Akatsuki organization, 3rd generation actually sent 2 cage-level experts to lurk. Isn't this a little too hasty? There are several cage-level experts in Konoha, and it is unreasonable to send 2 of them to the same organization as undercover agents. Yakushi Kabuto didn't say anything, but he had doubts in his heart. He felt that something must have happened in the 4 purple flame formation during Chunin's exam that he didn't know about. Unfortunately, he was not on the roof at the time, and all 4 sound ninjas were dead. Konoha was also tight-lipped, so he had no way of knowing what happened on the roof. Don't worry too much, the truth is what I said. Kabuto nodded, and then asked, then why do you want to go back to serve as the 5th Hokage? Just continue as before, and the Sound Ninja Village secretly unites Konoha. After all, what the people of Konoha Village think of you, if you go back, the villagers will definitely not agree. Orochimaru said, don't worry, 3rd generation has made arrangements. There is no decent person serving as Hokage in Konoha now. Jiraiya is an idiot and is not good at management. Tsunade travels around the ninja world and suffers from anemia and cannot fight, let alone be a Hokage. Those Jonin in the village are not strong enough either. So, I have to go back and carry the beam, otherwise Konoha will really collapse. Yakushi Kabuto said, then I will return to Konoha with you. Orochimaru shook his head in refusal. No, I want you to continue to stay in the Sound Ninja Village. Danzo is dead. I need the Sound Ninja Village to take over the route mission. I need you to do some shady things. Yakushi Kabuto. Until you watched Orochimaru leave, Yakushi Kabuto still couldn't get rid of the doubts in his heart. Master Orochimaru, why are you so different? Could it be that he was caught in an illusion? But what illusion can completely change a person's? Thinking of this, Yakushi Kabuto's eyes flashed. Uchiha Shisui, the most powerful illusion, distinguished heavenly gods. Bird Country, Phoenix Village, Fungying Tower. Naruto, do you want to go back to Konoha? Mizuki asked. Naruto shook his head and said, no, everyone in Konoha hates me, and I will be looked down upon when I go back. On the contrary, people in the Bird Country like me very much. The uncles and brothers who built the village all like to chat with me. Advertisement, even when I go to the casino, everyone likes me. Every time I go, they welcome me very warmly. Mizuki nodded and smiled. He is relieved. Naruto was here and already felt like he belonged. Don't you miss Konoha at all? Mizuki asked. Naruto said, it's not completely gone. I miss Konoha's Ichiraku Ramen very much. And Kakashi-sensei and Sakura-chan, I miss them a little too. Mizuki smiled. Naruto at this time was indeed very cute. He took out 10 barrels of special instant ramen noodles from the storage ring. Here it is, a special version of Ichiraku Ramen. It is made by hand. Just add boiling water and you can eat it in 5 minutes. Wow. Naruto's eyes lit up. Master Mizuki, you are so kind. Mizuki smiled and said, if you get a chance, I'll bring Shota to Phoenix Village, and then you'll have endless ramen to eat. Yeah, I agree. It would be great if Ichiraku Ramen came to Phoenix Village. Mizuki was very pleased to see Naruto with a happy face. In the beginning, he took on apprentices purely as tools to pluck out the system's wool. But now, his mind has changed. Since you have become a master, you should fulfill your responsibilities as a master. Sasuke, Naruto, Nobita. They are all orphans. They need not only ninjutsu, but also the love from their elders. Let me be their teacher and their father. When he first traveled through time, he was alone, but now, he is no longer. He also has his own bond. Naruto, all your previous pain came from the Nine-Tails demon fox sealed in your body. Actually, I can help you pull out 9 tails and get rid of your Jinchuriki identity. That way, no one will hate you anymore. Naruto was silent after listening to Mizuki's words. After a long time, he raised his head. Master, I heard what you said to that Jiraiya. I know you're doing it for my own good, and I'm happy. However, after 9 tails is extracted from my body and sent back to Konoha, someone else must be the container to seal 9 tails and become the new 9 tails Jinchuriki. And the new 9 tails Jinchuriki will take my place and bear the disgust and hatred of all the villagers. When he said this, a smile appeared on his face, and his face was full of sunshine. I will never forget that cold look in his eyes. I don't want anyone to ever feel the same pain and loneliness that I did. So, let 9 tails continue to stay in my body. Naruto's words made Mizuki's heart tremble. Is this Naruto? Why so kind? What kind of noble moral character is this? At this moment, Naruto's body seemed to be glowing, and this light made Mizuki feel a little ashamed of himself. Compared to Naruto, Nagato is garbage. Nagato suffered, but wanted to spread the pain to the entire human world. Naruto suffered pain, but he just endured it silently, and then used himself as Doran to prevent others from suffering the same pain. This is the real savior. Chapter 76. Gaara wants to sleep. In that case, let 9 tails continue to stay in your body. Now that you have mastered the Flying Thunder God and Rasengan, you have laid the foundation for becoming a cage-level powerhouse. But your combat experience is very poor and needs to be sharpened. Naruto asked. How to train? Mizuki replied. It's very simple, fight, a lot of fighting, especially fighting against strong people. This is the fastest way to increase combat experience. Naruto frowned. But where are there so many enemies for me to fight? Mizuki smiled and said, if you don't have enemies, just make them yourself. Your shadow clone is a good target for combat. Naruto's eyes lit up. It's interesting to think about fighting with yourself. Since you have learned Flying Thunder God, let me teach you another ninjutsu. Mizuki took out a scroll and handed it to Naruto. This is the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique, which allows one shuriken to split off a large number of shadow clone, forming a rain of swords to attack the enemy with a large area of coverage. This is a ninjutsu that combines ninjutsu and ninja tools. Third Hokage created it based on the Shadow Clone technique. When used, the more chakra consumed, the more Shadow Clone shuriken will be created. Those who master this technique include Third Hokage, Orochimaru, and Namikaze Minato. Jiraiya never learned this technique. When Minato is in use, the densely packed shurikens like a shower are enough to frighten the enemy. Take it back, study it carefully, and master it as soon as possible. It will be of great help to improve your strength. Naruto scratched his head and said, I'm not very good at shuriken throwing. This technique doesn't seem to be of much use to me. If you have time to throw shurikens, it's better to use Flying Thunder God to attack them at close range to save trouble. This jutsu should be given to Sasuke, he likes to use ninja tools. Naruto obviously had no interest in this technique. Mizuki said, I asked you to learn this technique, not to kill people with shuriken. The shuriken is not very powerful. Even if it stabs the enemy, it will not cause fatal damage. Throwing shurikens during combat can only serve as a source of harassment at best. Even in the fourth battle in the later period, shuriken had no chance to play. Impure World Reincarnation is not afraid of shurikens, Obito is not afraid of shurikens as a person, and Madara is not afraid of shurikens when driving a Gundam. This technique is for you to use in conjunction with the Flying Thunder God technique. Naruto didn't have a big brain and couldn't understand what Mizuki meant. Master, how can I cooperate? Mizuki asked in return. What is needed to perform the Flying Thunder God technique? Naruto showed the special kunai in his hand and said, Master, do you want to say this? Mizuki nodded and said, the performance of Flying Thunder God requires a spell, and the spell is engraved on this special kunai. In other words, without this special kunai, the Flying Thunder God cannot be used. If there are a lot of enemies, you have to throw more kunai as a foothold for the Flying Thunder God, right? Naruto nodded. He still didn't understand what Mizuki meant. Isn't it troublesome to make this kind of special kunai? Naruto immediately complained. Yes, you have to carve the magic formula on it, and you have to be very careful when carving. If you accidentally carve the wrong one, you have to start over. It took me several hours to succeed in this one. Mizuki smiled and said, haven't you figured it out yet? Naruto was still confused. Mizuki was really speechless. This guy was sometimes very smart and sometimes incredibly stupid. The answer was ready to come out, but he didn't understand it yet. Advertisement. I learned the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique and can also use it on kunai. Imagine that you throw a special kunai and it splits into tens of thousands in the air, covering a large area. In this area, your Flying Thunder God can use it at will. Isn't this easier than your hard work carving tens of thousands of kunai? Naruto slapped his head and said, yeah, why didn't I think of that? He immediately took the scroll and said, thank you, Master, for reminding me. I'm going to practice. Open black lens bracket ding. Close black lens bracket. Host granted disciple Uzumaki Naruto A-level ninjutsu. Shuriken Shadow Clone technique practice method, triggering 3037 times return. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host, you have obtained the S-level ninjutsu. Giant Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. Close black lens bracket. Giant Shuriken Shadow Clone technique. Throw ordinary shurikens, and split into tens of thousands of giant shurikens, covering a large area, forming a powerful strike like a tsunami of doomsday. Close black lens bracket. Mizuki was speechless. Tens of thousands of giant shurikens, powerful strikes like a tsunami of doomsday. It sounds exciting. Shortly after Naruto left, Gaara suddenly came to Mizuki. I heard from Naruto that you can extract the tailed beast and keep Jinchuriki alive, is that right? Mizuki looked at Gaara's dark circles and nodded. What, you want me to help you extract the one tail from your body? Gaara. I want to sleep. Mizuki. The poor child has never had a peaceful sleep since he was a child, which is heartbreaking. Mizuki thought about it and decided that it would be good to draw one tail. Even if Gaara loses one tail, Gaara's strength will not be affected. On the contrary, after he pulled out the one tail and gave it to Sasuke, the system would definitely return him a stronger guy. When the time comes, you will also be able to experience the infinite blue joy of Jinchuriki. Yes, but not yet, we have to wait for a while. In order to extract the one tail from Gaara's body, Mizuki must first master the method of breaking the seal. To resurrect Gaara, he must master the Heavenly Resentment U and accumulate a large amount of life force. To seal one tail into Sasuke's body, he must master the sealing method. Now, he doesn't know any of these and has to spend time learning. No, it doesn't matter, I can wait. It was obvious that Gaara was very excited. In the tavern in the capital of Bird Country, Jiraiya, you can't meet the conditions I asked, so don't blame me for not agreeing to you. Tsunade, I beg you, just say yes, Konoha really needs you. Jiraiya really has no choice. Tsunade shook his head. She actually missed Konoha, after all, it was the village founded by her grandfather. There was her childhood there, and there were precious memories that she could not forget. His relatives, his lover, and his friends were buried in the cemetery. How can you forget these? But asking her to go back to being a Hokage, sorry, really can't be done. How could a Hokage, who was suffering from hemophobia and unable to even participate in combat, protect the village and lead the village to develop and grow? Tsunade didn't agree. Jiraiya drank wine and looked sad. The wine table fell into silence for a while. Suddenly, the door of the tavern opened, and a pug wearing a blue cloak and a Konoha forehead protector rushed in. The dog was followed by a person, Konoha-Jonin Kakashi. Jiraiya-sama, I finally found you. Jiraiya's face turned red, and he turned around with drunken eyes and said, it turns out to be Kakashi. Why are you here too? Kakashi. A big thing happened in the village. Orochimaru returned to Konoha to compete for the position of 5th Hokage, and he even took out his handwritten letter of appointment as 3rd Hokage. Orochimaru said that he defected to Konoha in consultation with the 3rd generation in order to explore the intelligence of the Akatsuki organization. Advertisement. Jiraiya was sober in an instant and squinted his eyes. Orochimaru is not dead. Haha, what a stinking snake of immune to death. Anbu told me that during the rooftop battle that day, Orochimaru was struck by the distinguished heavenly gods and his will was changed. Before his death, the 3rd generation appointed him the 5th Hokage. However, the major families and the Jonin in the village will not agree to this matter. Tsunade scoffed upon hearing that the 3rd generation named Orochimaru the 5th Hokage. Jiraiya said to Kakashi, don't worry, Orochimaru alone, even with the old man's appointment letter, everyone will not agree to him being the 5th Hokage. Kakashi said, he is not alone, and Danzo, he's not dead and his roots are fully supportive of Orochimaru. What? Jiraiya's expression changed drastically. Didn't the old man say that Danzo was dead? Why did he appear again? He couldn't remain calm anymore and stood up in a hurry. The top priority is to return to Konoha, unite the major families and the 2 advisors, and drive away Orochimaru. He knew that Orochimaru must not be allowed to become the 5th Hokage, otherwise Konoha would be doomed. Orochimaru's experiments on humans were horrific and the villagers knew about them. If Orochimaru were to become Hokage, the number of defecting ninjas in the village would definitely increase. Tsunade, come back with me. You see, Konoha has begun to fall into chaos without you. Jiraiya made a final effort. Tsunade slowly picked up the glass and took a sip. Oh, the old man is willing to pass the position of Hokage to Orochimaru, and he doesn't say a word about me as the Senju successor. Why should I go back? He was afraid that after I came to power, I would target his Sarutobi clan. After all, the Senju clan completely declined during his reign. Give up, I won't go back to Konoha. Jiraiya felt anxious, but there was nothing he could do about Tsunade. Forget it, I'll come back to you after Orochimaru is dealt with. I hope you will think more about it during this period. After all, Konoha is the place where you were born and raised. There are some bonds that cannot be severed in a lifetime. Jiraiya and Kakashi rushed back to Konoha village overnight. The content of the conversation between the 3 people was also transmitted to Mizuki's ears through Shadow Clone. Danzo is not dead. Mizuki was surprised. He had checked the body and confirmed that Danzo was dead. As for Orochimaru not dying, Mizuki is not surprised. The ninja world is dead, and Orochimaru may still be alive. It's not a bad thing that Danzo isn't dead, it just gives Sasuke a target. Furthermore, with Danzo as a troublemaker in Konoha, the public sentiment will be greatly affected. When someone defects, I can bring them all to Phoenix Village. There are only 9 people in Fengwang Village and it is in urgent need of expansion. Suddenly, he received news from Shadow Clone again. Tsunade is leaving the land of birds. Mizuki stood up hastily. I had invested so much money just to get Tsunade to join Phoenix Village. Now that Tsunade wants to leave, this is absolutely not okay. I have to meet her in person. Mizuki immediately left Phoenix Village and was soon on a small road, blocking Tsunade's path. First generation Hokage Mizuki, why are you stopping me? Tsunade asked. Mizuki didn't beat around the bush and made his intention clear. I would like to invite you to join Phoenix Village. Tsunade sneered. I'm not even willing to be the 5th Hokage, so I'll join you in Phoenix Village, haha. Mizuki said. If you join Phoenix Village, I can give you countless money and let you gamble as much as you want. Tsunade. No need, Mizuki was not surprised and continued. If you join Phoenix Village, I can resurrect your brother Nawaki and your lover Kato Dan. Chapter 77. Depressed Konoha Village. This is impossible. Tsunade trembled and stared at Mizuki. Nothing is impossible. Mizuki said lightly. Shizune on the side said, resurrection of the dead cannot be achieved even with Tsunade-sama's superb medical ninjutsu. That's no longer the scope of ninjutsu. You are simply lying to Tsunade-sama. Dolphin also said, hey, to express his dissatisfaction with Mizuki. Mizuki remained calm and said, whether it is possible or not, you will know after a while if you see it. Tsunade-sama, don't believe him. He is a traitorous ninja of Konoha, and he will never be safe. Tsunade raised his hand to interrupt Shizune and said to Mizuki, okay, then I will wait in the Kingdom of Birds for half a month to see if you have the ability to resurrect the dead. If you can really resurrect Nawaki and Dan, I will join Phoenix Village. Mizuki smiled. It will not let you down. By the way, Phoenix Village, will cover all your expenses in Bird Country for the past half-month. Half a month is enough for Mizuki. As long as Tsunade doesn't leave today, he won't be able to leave in the future. Back in Phoenix Village, Mizuki wasted no time practicing Tianyu. It's almost time. In 3 days at most, Tianyu will be able to successfully cultivate. Meanwhile, Konoha was in turmoil. Orochimaru was back, carrying the legacy of the third generation and coming back to inherit the position of fifth Hokage. The Roots, led by Danzo, fully support him. Danzo also took out a top-secret file, which recorded the third generation's detailed plan to order Orochimaru to pretend to defect and establish the Sound Ninja Village. These were all prepared by third generation during their lifetime. Although third generation's character is not very good, it does things well. With this file, Orochimaru's identity is legal. Even though the ninjas and civilians in the village are against Orochimaru, they can no longer make a fuss about Orochimaru's defection. But everyone still doesn't want Orochimaru to become the fifth Hokage. The major families, the 2 advisors, and the village's Jon and Chunin all opposed it. Danzo was so savvy that he directly invited the Fire Nation daimyo to recommend Orochimaru as the fifth Hokage. In the conference room, Danzo was in high spirits. Lord Daimyo, in Konoha village right now, except for Orochimaru, there is no one else who can inherit the position of Hokage. The fifth Hokage is none other than Orochimaru. The daimyo didn't want Orochimaru to be a Hokage, so he asked, besides Orochimaru, do you have anyone else to recommend? Udadane Kaharu. Lord Daimyo, Jiraiya has set out to find Tsunade. As the granddaughter of the first Hokage and the princess of the Land of Fire, Tsunade is more suitable to be the Hokage than Orochimaru. The daimyo immediately nodded and said, Tsunade is indeed the best candidate for fifth Hokage. Danzo immediately said, Lord Daimyo, I got news that Tsunade is addicted to gambling and owes a lot of debt, at least 500 million. If she serves as Hokage, Konoha will not be able to get the money. I'm afraid the daimyo will have to help pay off the debt. Otherwise, the dignified Hokage will not repay his debts, and this name will not sound good to him. When the daimyo heard that it was 500 million, his expression changed and he stopped talking. Mitokado Homura. I recommend Jiraiya. The daimyo immediately said, Jiraiya can do it, he is very sunny, and the villagers will definitely be willing to accept him. The implication is that Orochimaru is too dark and is not accepted by the villagers. Danzo immediately retorted, Lord Daimyo, Jiraiya has a loose personality. He is more like an erotic novelist than a ninja. The book, Intimate Paradise, he wrote is unsightly and violates the 3 taboos of ninjas. By letting him serve as Hokage, the Fire Nation will probably become the laughingstock of the entire ninja world. Tsunade and Jiraiya were all denied by Danzo, which made the 2 consultants embarrassed. Advertisement, Danzo, Tsunade and Jiraiya are all suitable candidates. The debts and novels you mentioned are just insignificant minor problems. On the contrary, it is Orochimaru who has conducted human experiments and killed many innocent people. The whole village will not accept this. Danzo said. Those were all orders given by Hiruzen. Orochimaru just acted according to the orders. His nature is actually kind. Everyone. Well, now that third generation is dead, we can just pass the blame, right? Everyone was unhappy, but Danzo was extremely happy. Hiruzen, I took the blame for all the bad things in the past. Now, I'll let you have a taste of taking the blame. You always have to pay back when you go out to hang out. If you can't pay it off while you're alive, then you can continue to pay it off after you die. At this time, Nara Shikaku suggested, I recommend Hitaki Kakashi to be the fifth Hokage. The daimyo's eyes lit up and he said, Copy Ninja Kakashi. I heard that he is a disciple of the fourth Hokage. He is a promising young man, and he is upright and has no stain. Well, I think it's okay. Danzo immediately jumped out again. Lord Daimyo, Kakashi is too young. Furthermore, all generations of Hokage have been the strongest in the village. Although Kakashi is an elite Jonin, he is not strong enough. It is difficult for him to serve as Hokage and convince the public. Danzo stared at the daimyo with a threatening look in his eyes. Orochimaru is the best candidate for Hokage. He is a disciple of the third generation, and his strength is among the best in the entire ninja world. Over the years, he has endured humiliation and shouldered the burden to complete the tasks assigned by the third generation without any complaints, and there is no problem with his moral character. The third generation appointed him the fifth Hokage before his death. This shows that in the eyes of the third generation, Orochimaru is the most suitable candidate. Moreover, he also established the Sound Ninja Village and trained a large number of masters. If he is not allowed to be elected, then I am afraid it will chill the hearts of many people. Everyone here, I don't want Konoha's collapse plan to happen again. This is already a naked threat. The 2 advisors glared at Danzo and wanted to scold him, but couldn't. They are afraid too. Behind Orochimaru, in addition to his roots, there is the entire Sound Ninja Village. If they really break up, the consequences will be unimaginable. They only blame Jiraiya for not getting Tsunade back earlier, so that the situation has reached the point where it is now out of control. The daimyo was also chilled by Danzo's threatening gaze. Since that's the case, then I propose Orochimaru as the fifth Hokage. Is there anyone here who is against? Objection? No one spoke. No one dared to object. If it were just Orochimaru, no one would care. But with the addition of Danzo, what could they have against him? In that case, I officially appoint Orochimaru as the 5th Hokage of Konoha village. The appointment letter for the daimyo was issued quickly. Orochimaru successfully ascended to the position of 5th Hokage. With Orochimaru taking over, the overall atmosphere of Konoha village has changed. There were fewer people in the bustling market in the past, and it was no longer as lively as usual. There was sadness on the faces of the villagers, and they walked faster, as if they were in a hurry. The efficiency of the ninjas in performing tasks has become lower, and the number of requests to Konoha to issue tasks has also dropped sharply. To describe it in one word, it is bleak. By the time Jiraiya and Kakashi returned to Konoha, it was already too late. This is bad. When Jiraiya returned to the village, the two advisors immediately came to see him. When they learned that Tsunade did not want to return to Konoha, the two advisors felt uneasy. Advertisement: hey, I'm getting old, tomorrow, we will resign as consultants and retire in peace. Jiraiya said quickly. Don't worry, you two. We still have a chance. We just need to unite the major families and the Jonin in the village to drive Orochimaru away. The two advisors shook their heads and smiled bitterly. So what if we drive away Orochimaru? If Tsunade doesn't come back, who will be the 5th Hokage? You. Jiraiya. Whoever is in charge is better than Orochimaru. If he continues to be in charge, the village will be doomed. The advisors of the two committees still shook their heads. The daimyo has issued a formal appointment letter, and his 5th Hokage status has been recognized by the Fire Nation. We have nothing to do if we don't agree. If we join forces to oust him, it will be rebellion. Although the daimyo is not happy about Orochimaru taking the position, the daimyo pays more attention to face. The appointment letter was signed by the daimyo himself, so he will not slap himself in the face. If Tsunade comes back, we still have a chance. After all, Tsunade's status is extraordinary. But Tsunade doesn't come back. If we openly oppose Orochimaru, the daimyo will definitely label us as a rebel. Konoha can't bear the trouble anymore, so let's let it go. The advisors of the two committees sighed and left. Jiraiya stood there for a long time and sighed. Kakashi asked, Jiraiya-sama, what should we do now? Jiraiya looked up at the Hokage building in the distance and said, the situation has reached this point. It's too late to do anything. The only thing we can do is to do our best to clear Orochimaru's name and make all villagers accept Orochimaru. Only in this way can Konoha be stable. 3 days passed by in a flash. Fengwang Village, Fengying Building. The secret technique of heavenly resentment Yu has finally been successfully practiced. His body turned into a transparent viscous liquid, flowing on the ground like water. It climbed up the window sill, reached the outer wall, and then flowed along the outer wall to the ground, seeping into the ground and moving in the gaps in the soil. Soon the fluids moved to the roots of a tree, where they penetrate. The lush leaves of this big tree, which was as thick as a bucket, began to wither quickly, and the trunk also quickly dried up. At a speed visible to the naked eye, the tree became a dead tree and completely rotted. When the wind blew, the dead leaves flew away, the dead branches were broken, and the trunk also fell. The liquid emerges from the ground and reforms into Mizuki. At this time, he felt that his body was full of vitality and full of life. His appearance also became younger. System, check the properties panel. Open black lens bracket host. Mizuki close black lens bracket. Remaining lifespan, 56 years. Open black lens bracket chakra, 54.8 Kakashi close black lens bracket. Chakra reply, 2.5 Kakashi per minute. Chakra control, 99.9999%. Ability parameters. Tolerance 10, Physical 9, Illusion 9, Sage 8, Strength 8, Speed 8, Essence 10, Seal 10, Total 72. Ninjutsu. Upgraded 3 body technique, Earth Style. Earth Style. Tyrone Gun, Earth Style. Stone Mirror Wall, Sky Stepping Technique, Rasengan, Wind Style. Spiral Shuriken, 6 paths. Yin Yang Rasengan, Secret Technique. TNU, Sharingan Eye Technique, Rinnegan Eye Technique. Physical Skills. Tai Chi, Illusion, Magic, Narukumi Technique. Sealing Technique. 5 Elements Seal, Bloodline Limits, Left Eye Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Right Eye Rinnegan. Disciple. Uzumaki Naruto, S-level qualification. Uchiha Sasuke, S-level, Haruno Sakura, A-level, Nobita, C-level, Rock Lee, A-level. In the property panel, the remaining life property has just appeared. Mizuki found another tree as thick as a bucket, and used the liquefaction of TNU to swallow up all the life force of the tree. After devouring it, I opened the properties panel and found that the remaining lifespan had changed from 56 years to 66 years. The vitality of this tree alone provides Mizuki with an upper limit of lifespan of 10 years. Swallow a forest and I will live forever. Chapter 78. Tsunade, take it. Soon, a small forest with nearly 100 big trees was swallowed up. Mizuki's lifespan reaches 1,000 years. Inside the body, there is abundant vitality. He took out the kunai and made a deep wound on his arm that was visible to the bone. But in less than 3 seconds, the wound had healed. I finally realized how shameless Senju Hashirama Sage Body is, Mizuki chuckled. Super strong regeneration and recovery capabilities are exactly the characteristics of the immortal body. In fact, Mizuki does not currently have a fairy body. But the massive vitality accumulated in his body gave him the same characteristics as the immortal body. Now you can roam freely. His only weakness is his heart, and as long as his heart is not destroyed, he is immortal. Because all the vitality swallowed into the body is stored in the heart. Unfortunately, although I have a weakness, the enemy will never be able to take advantage of it. The secret technique Tianyuan gave him the ability to liquefy. It can be completely liquefied or partially liquefied. Therefore, as long as he liquefies his heart, he will be immune to all kinds of physical damage, even if he is pierced by a knife, it doesn't matter. No solution. Heavenly resentment Yu Liancheng, now I am no longer afraid of Rinne Tensai's backlash against my own life. Next, there's Chakra. To cast Rinne Tensai, a large amount of Chakra is required. The stronger the person is resurrected, the more life force and Chakra will be consumed. Resurrecting a person who has been dead for a long time will consume more life force Chakra. There is nothing wrong with the vitality. If you don't resurrect too many people at once, it will basically not capsize in the gutter. All that is missing is Chakra. With his current Chakra capacity of 54.8 Kakashi, there is no problem in resurrecting a recently deceased person, but it is far from enough to resurrect a person like Nawaki who has been dead for more than 20 years. So, he needs more Chakra. The fastest way to improve Chakra is the heroic water from Taki Ninja Village. Then, let's go to Taki Ninja Village. The heroic water of Taki Ninja Village can increase the amount of Chakra of a ninja dozens of times after drinking it, but it will swallow up the vitality, so it is called the heroic water. Because anyone who drinks this water will become a hero in the end. Although there are side effects, Mizuki doesn't care. After you get it, give it to your apprentice to earn money back from the system. If there are any side effects, just tell your apprentice not to drink it. Before going to Taki Ninja Village, first bring Tsunade to Phoenix Village. Mizuki left Phoenix Village and found Tsunade in a casino in the capital of Bird Country. Can Nawaki be resurrected and broken? Tsunade asked expectantly when he saw Mizuki. Mizuki replied, not yet. The two of them have been dead for too long, and the conditions for resurrection are more difficult. I'm here today to demonstrate how to resurrect the dead, so that you can have some confidence in your mind. Tsunade asked, how to perform? It's simple, come with me. Mizuki walked in front and Tsunade followed. The two walked on the street. Soon, Mizuki came to the door of a house. An old mother died in this family and a funeral was being held. He died yesterday and his body was completely cold. When Mizuki arrived, the family immediately came out to welcome him. The male host walked in the front, his face full of flattery. First generation Master Fengying, you are welcome to attend my mother's funeral, please come in. When Phoenix Village was announced, many people from Bird Country went to visit, so many people knew Mizuki, including the male head of the family. Mizuki smiled. I'm not here to attend the wedding, I'm here to save your mother. The male host's expression froze and he said, Lord First Generation Fengying, my mother is dead. Advertisement Mizuki. I know. The people around you look weird, you know shit. Everyone is dead. If you want to save them, how can you save the dead? Okay, just take me in and we'll find out. In the morning hall, the body of the deceased is placed in a coffin. Do you need to open the coffin for inspection? Mizuki turned around and asked Tsunade. Tsunade shook his head and said, no need, what's in the coffin is a corpse. As a medical ninja, I can still tell the difference between the living and the dead at such a close distance. Mizuki nodded and went straight to work without saying much. Heretic. Rinne Tensai technique. As he finished speaking, Mizuki experienced violent chakra fluctuations. Tsunade's eyes were always on the coffin. At this moment, green light appeared around the coffin. In this green light, Tsunade felt the power of life. The guests who came to attend the funeral were so frightened that they ran out. Even the children of the deceased looked at the coffin that was glowing green with trepidation. When the green light disappeared, Tsunade clearly felt that the body in the coffin was already alive. Where am I? Shunsuke, Shunsuke! Shouts came from the coffin. The male owner of the house was so frightened that his legs were shaking. Mom faked the corpse. Mizuki said to the male host. It's not a fake corpse, your mother has been resurrected by my ninjutsu. Go open the coffin quickly, don't let her suffocate in it. Really? The male host was still a little scared. Mizuki shook his head, walked over, and lifted the lid of the coffin. Inside the coffin was a woman with black hair and a face of about 50. The male host named Shunsuke is over 50 years old, and his hair is Madara white. How the hell is he so young? This was done deliberately by Mizuki, who resurrected it and gave it an extra 20 years of life. With the family's gratitude, Mizuki and Tsunade left. How? Mizuki asked. Tsunade's clenched fists and tense body have relaxed. She has been very nervous since she left the casino just now. After seeing the old man resurrected, her nervousness faded away. I believe you, and I am willing to join Phoenix Village. Mizuki smiled. Tsunade joins, then Shizune will also join, and Dodo. Fengwang Village expanded from 9 people to 11 people, plus 1 pig. Grow bigger again. The future is promising. At this time Tsunade said, there is something I must explain to you in advance. Mizuki asked. What's the matter? Tsunade. I suffer from hemophobia and cannot fight. Therefore, even if I join your Phoenix Village, I will not be able to provide any useful value to the Phoenix Village. Mizuki smiled and asked, can I ask why you suffer from hemophobia? Tsunade was silent for a moment and replied, at the beginning, when I saw Dan covered in blood, I couldn't revive him. Mizuki said, since it was because of Dan's death that you suffered from anemia, then your anemia will naturally disappear after Dan is resurrected. Tsunade said expectantly. Maybe, immediately afterwards, Tsunade found Shizune, explained the matter, and came to Phoenix Village with Mizuki. Mizuki called everyone over, and under the witness of everyone, announced that Tsunade Haim, one of the Sannin, had officially joined the Phoenix Village. Sister, it turns out you are a ninja too. It's great that you have joined Phoenix Village now. Naruto was happy. At this time Zabuza said, Lord Hokage, as far as I know, Tsunade Haim, one of the Konoha Sannin, is a powerful ninja who became famous in the ninja world during the Second Ninja War. She is at least over 50 years old. Advertisement. This woman looks to be in her 20s, how could she be Tsunade Haim? Lord Feng Ying, you were deceived by her. Mizuki glanced at Tsunade and couldn't help coughing twice. Ahem. That's right, she is Tsunade Haim, one of the Sannin. In terms of age, haha, you can't just judge people by their appearance, cough. Zabuza exclaimed. Is she really Tsunade Haim? Why is she so young when she is clearly in her 50s? Could it be transformation technique? At this time, Tsunade's anger level has begun to rise. Just give me enough is enough. Without the exertion of her feet, the ground cracked open, and a crack several meters deep instantly extended to Zabuza's feet. Zabuza was unprepared and fell directly into the crack. Mr. Zabuza! Haku exclaimed. It's so scary, everyone's eyes widened, and there was a chill on their backs. Naruto curled his lips after being surprised. TCH, she is obviously a mother-in-law in her 50s, but she used the transformation technique to turn into a young woman and pretend to be young. Tsunade turned to look at Naruto with murderous intent in his eyes. Do you want to challenge me too? Naruto chuckled. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, mother-in-law. She is so old, but she still refuses to admit it and is not ashamed. Naruto. He felt the chakra emanating from his body and the twin tails floating on the back of his head. She was really angry. What a scary mother-in-law, I'll dodge. Naruto screamed, and the next moment, his body disappeared. Huh? Tsunade was secretly surprised. She didn't see how Naruto disappeared. Not only him, but everyone else present, except Mizuki, didn't know how Naruto disappeared. Sasuke murmured. Apparition? He turned on the Two-Tomo Sharingan and glanced around, but there was no sign of Naruto within his field of vision. Tsunade looked at Mizuki and confirmed, Flying Thunder God? Mizuki nodded slightly. Zabuza climbed up from the crack, heard the words, Flying Thunder God, and exclaimed again. Fourth Hokage's signature space ninjutsu, Flying Thunder God technique. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. He looked at where Naruto was standing just now, his eyes radiating strong fighting spirit. Naruto, you actually learned the space ninjutsu one step ahead of me. No, I will never admit defeat. Master Mizuki, I'm going to practice, Sasuke said and left. He was aroused by Naruto. Soon, everyone dispersed, and Mizuki was also preparing to go to Taki Ninja Village. I will resurrect Nawaki and Dan as soon as possible. In addition, I will help you pay off all the foreign debts you owe. You can also ask me to reimburse you for any money you lose from gambling in the future. Tsunade. The foreign debt I owe is more than 500 million, and you can't afford it. Mizuki smiled and said, it's only 5 or 6 billion, it's nothing. Is this what people say? With a mere 5 or 6 billion, Ming Dynasty would not dare to be so arrogant. After settling Tsunade and Shizune, Mizuki left Phoenix Village. The country of Taki and the country of birds are not too far apart from the country of rain and the country of grass. Mizuki flew solo and arrived at Takino country in less than 3 hours. According to Kakuzu's memory, he found the entrance to Takino country. A huge and spectacular waterfall. From a distance, he saw a battle taking place in front of the waterfall. One side is naturally the ninja of Taki Ninja Village, and the other side is 2 members of the Akatsuki organization wearing black and red cloud windbreakers. Art is an explosion. Drink, Chapter 79. Almost lost it. There were explosions one after another. The artistic duo, Red Sand Scorpion and Deidara, are actually here. At this time, the Red Sand Scorpion was watching a show. Deidara sat on the back of Clay Fukuru and released a group of bird bombs, chasing a female ninja with butterfly wings behind her to explode. The flying ninja should be the Seven Tails Jinchuriki from Taki Ninja Village, Fuba. In the anime, Seven Tails Jinchuriki Fu was captured by Kakuzu and Hidan on her way back to Daikainen Village after taking the Chunin exam in Konoha, and Seven Tails fell into the hands of the Akatsuki organization. Now that Kakuzu and Hidan have been dealt with by Mizuki, it's Scorpion and Deidara's turn to capture Seven Tails. Mizuki showed little interest in their fight. The purpose of his coming here is the heroic water. Apart from the heroic water, the only thing here that interests me is Seven Tails Chome. Let's get the hero's water first. Mizuki quietly fell to the ground, his body liquefied, and he quickly passed through the waterfall and entered the cave behind the waterfall. This is a place like Water Curtain Cave. There are some small pools on the ground, and Mizuki found one of them. Entering this pool and passing through the long and narrow underground waterway is the Taki Ninja Village. It has to be said that Taki Ninja Village is very hidden and it is difficult for outsiders to find the entrance. He was about to enter the pool when suddenly several ninjas from Taki Ninja Village jumped out of the pool. Quick, Fu is being attacked by the enemy, we can't let anything happen to him. Don't worry, Mr. Shiki, we will definitely kill the enemy. These ninjas rushed towards the waterfall. The transparent liquid Mizuki turned into was very inconspicuous on the ground, and no one noticed him. After everyone left, Mizuki entered the water pool, passed through the underground waterway, and successfully arrived at Taki Ninja Village. This is a secret place isolated from the world, a lake. On one side of the lake is a towering tree, and on the other side is the village. The water of heroes is hidden at the roots of this big tree. Mizuki dived under the water and swam towards the roots of the big tree. Soon he stepped onto a dry land made of tree roots. The next step is to find the cabinet where the hero's water is hidden. The roots of this tree are crisscrossed, and if you are not familiar with the root, you will not be able to find the cabinet. Fortunately, Mizuki read Kakuzu's memory and knew how to go. He shuttled through the roots and quickly found the cabinet containing the hero's water. I opened the cabinet door, only to find it was empty. No, Mizuki frowned. Why not? Could it be that all the plots in the theater version have happened? In the Hokage movie version, Team 7 comes to Taki Ninja Village, just in time for the leader Shibuki's master to flood the village to rebel and seize the heroic water. Finally, during the battle, the bottle containing the hero's water was broken and all the hero's water spilled out. Damn it, did I run away in vain? No, you can't come all the way in vain. If you can't get the heroic water, then take 7 taels back and give it away. The thief never leaves. Mizuki returned the same way, and as soon as he came out of the waterfall, he saw the ninjas from Taki Ninja Village exuding powerful chakra fluctuations. They turned water into water knives and held them in their hands, fighting Scorpion's puppet. These people have chakra leaking out of their bodies, right? Mizuki's eyes lit up. Advertisement. He glanced around and soon saw one of the Taki Nins, with a gourd-shaped glass bottle hanging on his waist. The bottle contained liquid. It's strange that it has to be in the cabinet. It turns out that they brought it out for use in fighting. At this time, the chakra fluctuations on a Taki Ninja gradually subsided, and he shouted, Master Shibaki, my chakra is used up, please let me take another sip of the hero's water. Shibuki said, No, you have already taken a sip. If you drink again within a short period of time, you will die. Please retreat behind the waterfall and do not participate in the next battle. The man said, The enemy is too strong, just the puppets can block us. If we don't drink the hero's water to enhance the chakra, we will all die. Anyway, we will die. I will never retreat and must fight until the last moment. Mizuki frowned, took off the glass bottle, and threw it at the man. The red sand scorpion had already noticed the heroic water and controlled the scorpion tail whip to attack the glass bottle. The speed was so fast that Shi-Mu was unexpected. Not good. Seeing that the hero's water was about to be destroyed, Mizuki took action immediately. Universal pull. Under the influence of gravity, the glass bottle immediately turned around and fell into Mizuki's hands. After getting the hero water, Mizuki immediately liquefied and sank into the water. Although Mizuki moved quickly, Scorpion still saw him. Scorpion paused, stopped attacking Taki Nin, turned around and walked away quickly. In the air, Deidara saw Scorpion running and asked in confusion, Brother Scorpion, why are you running? It's just a group of Taki ninjas, how can anyone force you to retreat? Scorpion just shouted, Deidara, go. Deidara sat on Fukuru's back and said, Why go away? I'm having fun. Just wait a moment and I'll capture him soon. Chie said, Don't catch me. Mizuki is here. If you don't leave, you won't be able to escape. Mizuki? Which Mizuki? Deidara didn't respond. Scorpion stopped paying attention to Deidara and ran away quickly. Deidara also reacted, screamed, and rode Fukuru away quickly. Mizuki was speechless. What are you two running for? I have no plans to do anything to you. Scorpion and Deidara ran away, and Taki Ninja looked at each other, happy but also a little confused. Shibuki looked towards the direction where the heroic water disappeared and murmured, Mizuki. Is that the Mizuki who killed 3rd Hokage and 4th Kazekage? Why did he take away the hero's water? How could such a powerful person value such a one-time thing with extremely strong side effects? Fu flapped her wings and landed on the ground. Shenmue asked hurriedly, Fu, are you okay? Fu smiled and said, It's okay, although that guy's ninjutsu is difficult to deal with, my trump cards haven't been used yet. Shenmue frowned and said, Do those two people have any grudge against you? Fu shook her head. Shenmue narrowed his eyes and said, Since there is no hatred, then it must be for the things in your body. From today on, you should stay in the village and don't come out. Mizuki got the hero's water, and the purpose of this trip has been achieved. He stayed no longer and returned to the country of birds. On the way, he took out the glass bottle and wanted to test the effect of this heroic water. He opened the bottle and took a sip. Boom! Chakra is growing violently, but its vitality is being consumed crazily. Advertisement. His appearance was aging at a speed visible to the naked eye, his face was covered with wrinkles, his eyes were dim, and his hair was snow white. Wang Defa, Mizuki's expression changed dramatically. Fortunately, when the chakra stops growing, aging also stops. Not dead, Mizuki trembled and called up the system's property panel. The amount of chakra has changed from 54.8 Kakashi to 548 Kakashi. It has become 10 times the original size. He exudes super strong chakra fluctuations, and even chakra overflows from his body, forming a blue chakra coat around his body. At this moment, Mizuki felt like he had become a god. But looking at the lifespan, it has been reduced from 1,000 years to only 14 years. About 986 years missing. A god who can only live 14 years. Damn, this is so exciting. Chakra has increased, and it has increased tenfold, but the price is too high. The increased chakra value and the reduced value of lifespan are in a multiple relationship. Approximately for every 1 additional Kakashi chakra, lifespan is reduced by 2 years. Mizuki's face turned green. He almost killed himself. This thing, the more people drink chakra, the greater the danger. Because there is more chakra, the more chakra will be increased and the lifespan will be reduced even more. If the lifespan is not enough, it will be cold immediately. He hurriedly fell to the ground, his body liquefied, wildly devouring the life force of flowers, plants and trees. Soon, a large tract of woods became a dead ground. Mizuki exited the liquefied state. His gray and dull hair has become smooth and silver again, and the wrinkles on his face have disappeared. The lifespan was all restored and increased to 3,000 years. Mizuki was frightened and swallowed a lot more life force this time to avoid the tightrope walking drama just now. Well, 10 times the chakra, it's not bad. Before he could say the word, good deal, Mizuki's expression changed again. Because he felt that the increased chakra in his body was quickly dissipating. Soon, the 548 calories of chakra returned to the original 54.8 calories. Gift crab. The chakra added by this thing is actually temporary? Lousy. Mizuki really can't complain. I was almost killed by this thing, but as a result, the increased chakra is not permanent, which is ridiculous. That's not right. What I detected in Kakuzu's memory is that the chakra he increased is permanent. Why is this happening? Mizuki frowned. I don't understand. Does it mean that you have to be a ninja from Taki Ninja Village to drink it to permanently enhance the chakra? Or is it that only those who practice earth resentment can permanently improve chakra by drinking it? What is the reason? Mizuki does not know. There is no answer to this part of the doubt in Kakuzu's memory. Forget it, just make it temporary, it doesn't matter to me. So what if it's temporary? I have a system to return it and I'll make it permanent for you. The godlike experience I had just now, I can't wait for it. Chapter 80. Orochimaru remained stubborn after flying to the land of grass. Mizuki landed on the ground and walked instead. The direction of travel was changed to Kusanagi village. He temporarily changed his mind and planned to go to the grass ninja village. When he arrived at Kusanagi village, he found a battle taking place. There were unidentified ninjas attacking the grass ninja village. There were shouts of killing and violent ninjutsu everywhere. There were corpses everywhere, some from ninjas and some from ordinary villagers. The air was filled with the smell of blood. Fire style, great fireball technique. Opposite the great fireball was Jonin, a grass ninja. He ducked away from the great fireball and shouted, "This kind of ninjutsu has no effect on me." But the next moment, he let out a scream. A wind style. The wind blade struck from behind and hit the man's left leg. The wound was deep enough to show the bone. At the moment of life and death, this grass ninja quickly formed seals, which was earth style. Technique hidden in the earth. He dived underground and chakra quickly disappeared. Mizuki had already liquefied through the Tenyu technique and flowed into the ground, shuttled through the soil, following the injured Kusanagi. Somewhere in the village, there was a house. A large number of injured Kusanagi came and entered the house. After a while, they came out again, but their injuries had completely recovered. The Jonin also entered the house, then walked out intact and continued fighting. This is it. The reason why Mizuki came to Kusunin village was for the fragrance. Uzumaki is an orphan of the Uzumaki clan. Although he is not strong, he is a very good auxiliary ninja. She possesses the perception ninjutsu, Kagura Heart's Eye, and can sense chakra with a range of tens of kilometers, which is extremely pervert. Her blood has the ability to heal. No matter how serious the injury is, just drink a sip of her blood and you will be able to recover immediately. There is also the sealing ability of the Uzumaki clan hidden in her body. If it is developed, it will be very powerful. How could Mizuki let such a good candidate for his apprentice go? If you pass by the country of grass, of course you have to visit it. Shang Phosphorus was having a hard time in the country of grass, so it was not difficult to take her away. At this time, several more injured Kusanagi entered the room, but immediately after, shrill screams came from the room. These grass ninjas did not come out. Mizuki noticed something strange. This familiar cold chakra belongs to no one but Orochimaru. As expected, the attack on Kusanagi village was deliberately caused by Orochimaru. The purpose was the same as mine. It was also a phosphorus. During the Konoha Chunin exam, Kusanagi village also participated, including Konoha. Her sensory abilities must have been noticed by Orochimaru at that time. Never doubt Orochimaru's vision, the person he likes is definitely a genius. Inside the room, Orochimaru looked at the red-haired girl huddled in the corner. His unique purple eyeshadow looked very evil. There were several corpses lying on the ground, which were the grass ninjas who came in just now. I'm here to take you away. Your perception is very special. I need you so much, Shang Lu asked with a look of horror on his face. You, who are you? This was the man who killed these grass ninjas in just one encounter. Even Jonin had no power to resist. Orochimaru said in a hoarse voice. I am the 5th Hokage of Konoha village, Orochimaru. 5th Hokage? Orochimaru asked. What do you think, should you follow me, or should you stay here and be the blood medicine of Kusanagi village? Xiangling said. I'll go with you. She could sense that Orochimaru's chakra was very eerie, like a dark and cold snake cave. Advertisement: a person with such a chakra is definitely not a good person. But so what if he is a bad guy? Are there any good people in Kusanagi village? If you continue to stay here, sooner or later you will bleed to death like your mother did. Following Orochimaru, although the future is unknown, no matter how bad it is, it will not be worse than staying in Kusanagi village. Orochimaru nodded. Then let's go. Xiangling was about to get up when suddenly she sensed another unfamiliar chakra entering the room. Hey, Orochimaru, you're kidnapping an ignorant girl again. Hearing the familiar voice, Orochimaru's expression changed, but then a smile appeared on his lips. Mizuki-kun, I didn't expect you to be here. Orochimaru turned his head and looked towards the door of the room, only to see a puddle of water flowing into the crack of the door, piling up and transforming into the human form of Mizuki. Water body. Orochimaru was confused, he didn't understand what technique Mizuki used. Mizuki-kun, did you come here specifically to see me? He looked at Mizuki, his expression growing strange. Mizuki-kun, you seem to be getting younger. If I remember correctly, you should be 28 years old, but you look like 18. I feel the charming aura from you, which is the majestic power of life. It seems that Mizuki-kun is also a person who pursues immortality. So, we are still on the same page. Mizuki smiled. Who doesn't want eternal life? Unfortunately, your living corpse reincarnation technique has too many side effects. Although it can keep the body young, the soul is seriously damaged. And the secret technique I have mastered has no side effects at all. You can have eternal life without changing your body. Orochimaru listened and couldn't help but stick out his tongue and lick his lips. Mizuki continued. If you leave Konoha, take the people from Sound Ninja Village, and join me in Phoenix Village. I will give you this secret technique so that you can live forever without side effects like me. Orochimaru looked down and chuckled. If I leave Konoha, why don't you come back to Konoha, Mizuki-kun? I know the injustice done to you by the 3rd generation, but the 3rd generation is dead and now I am Hokage. As long as you come back, I am willing to abdicate immediately and make you the 6th Hokage. Mizuki said. I am not interested in you, and I am even less interested in the position of Hokage. Mizuki's eyes shifted to Xiangling. Orochimaru frowned and his expression became a little ugly. In order to obtain fragrant phosphorus, he did not hesitate to lead people to attack the grass ninja village, which can be said to have paid a huge price. But now Mizuki is here, and the target is also Shang Phosphorus. Orochimaru sighed, but the next moment, an evil smile appeared on his lips. Mizuki's immortality technique, I want it so much. In that case, don't blame me for being rude. As soon as he finished speaking, Mizuki felt his neck being bitten. The familiar binding power of the curse swept through his body again. Behind Mizuki, another Orochimaru appeared at some point, biting Mizuki's neck with his sharp teeth, releasing the power of the curse seal. The Orochimaru in front of him turned into a snake with a bang, and turned out to be a snake clone. The one biting Mizuki's neck is Orochimaru's true form. I'm so lucky, not only are there Sharingan and Rinnegan, but there is such a huge life force, enough for me to live for thousands of years without aging. This body is definitely the most perfect in the ninja world. It suits me better than Uchiha Sasuke's. Mizuki-kun, from today on, let us become one. While biting Mizuki and not letting go, he performed the Fu Zombie turn technique. The white snake sage came out of his mouth and moved towards Mizuki's mouth. Advertisement, hee. A chuckle, accompanied by the flash of Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, everything around him shattered like a bubble. Orochimaru's eyes widened and he stood there with panic on his face. I fell into your illusion, the eye power, such a powerful eye power. He recalled the scene when he was defeated by Uchiha Itachi, how similar it was to today. Mizuki pretended to be cool. Orochimaru, all your actions cannot escape my eyes. Your strength is not worthy of your ambition. I won't kill you, but if you dare to attack me, I won't let you go easily. Aren't you pursuing immortality? Then I'll let you experience the thrill of being chased by a Shinigami with a sickle. The next moment, Mizuki liquefied and penetrated into Orochimaru's body, devouring his life force crazily. This. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Orochimaru felt that he was aging rapidly. Wrinkles appeared on his face, his silky black hair turned into dry white hair, his body was stooped, and his teeth were falling out. No. Stop quickly. Orochimaru's mentality exploded. He felt like he was going to die. Although the dead can be resurrected, I don't know how long it will take before I have the chance to be resurrected. Last time, Kimimaro died, giving him the chance to be resurrected. I don't know when it will be next time. I can't die. What will happen to Konoha if I die? The position of Hokage will definitely be occupied by mediocrity, and Konoha will decline. Mizuki left Orochimaru's body and returned to human form, looking at the extremely old Orochimaru. I've left you 3 hours to live. If you want to survive, hurry up. Orochimaru asked. What kind of jutsu is this? Where did the life force that was swallowed from my body go? Mizuki smiled. As you guessed, all the life force swallowed from you belongs to me. Your lifespan is reduced, and my lifespan is increased. Orochimaru's eyes, which had become dull due to old age, shone brightly. An emotion called longing amplified infinitely in his heart. I am willing to exchange this secret technique with you using Baki technique. Mizuki smiled and said, I won't change, plus living corpse reincarnation and Ryuchi cave senjutsu training method. There is also the method of curse seal. After learning the curse seal, you can be resurrected even if you are killed. Orochimaru fought tooth and nail. Mizuki was indifferent, but looked at Xianglin aside and said, come with me. Then he turned and walked towards the door. Xiangling didn't dare to look at Mizuki, but he got up and followed Mizuki. Mizuki didn't kill Orochimaru. Orochimaru is now the 5th Hokage. If he dies, Konoha will definitely choose a new Hokage, and the first target will definitely be Tsunade. When the time comes, Jiraiya will come looking for Tsunade again. If Tsunade relents and agrees to return to Konoha, the Phoenix village will suffer great losses. Therefore, it is better to save Orochimaru's life. Anyway, it won't have any bad impact on myself. Xianglu, are there any relatives or friends of yours in this village? If there are, I can take them with me. Xiang Phosphorus shook his head. I have no friends and my mother is dead. She only has blood-sucking teammates and no friends. Mizuki sighed and said, don't be sad, you will have many friends when you get to Phoenix village. With Xiang Phosphorus, Mizuki soared into the sky.